Welcome to your mom's house with Tom Segura, and
Christina Pajitsin.
welcome to your mom's house.
Thank you for gracing us with your presence today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
It's been a while.
It has been.
You're the second guest we've had in 3 years.
Whoa, that's
yeah,
crazy.
we stopped doing guests a long time ago, but then now that we have this set up, we're like, we should bring guests back.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Fuck it.
Yeah, it's fun. We told you we had the water sommelier here last week.
Yeah.
Some people thought it was a joke, and they wrote in like, hey, I turned it off. I thought that bit was going kind of long.
Yeah.
I was like, it's not a bit.
Well, because we play boring clips on the show sometimes.
Yeah.
And people are like, that was the longest boring clip.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Assholes. We're like,
Yeah,
no,
when
it's
there's too
great.
many laughs, we'll be like, let's bore it down a little bit. So we'll play something boring, and they're like, that's a long, boring
Gotta
bit.
have peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lower the expectations
That's
and then
right.
slam it home.
Yeah. So we had a bunch of people, but some people were, I would say most people were fascinated. I was fucking fascinated.
so
by
was
that
I.
guy.
I had no idea until I walked in here that was a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he works at Patina, which is a restaurant downtown. I don't know if you've been there, but he created a water menu there.
What?
So, yeah. So when
know.
people go,
Come on.
and you're like,
ridiculous.
yeah, can I have, you order, and he's like, to drink, and you go, I'll just have water. He'll be like, I'll be right back, and then it's a water menu. So you get to he basically does what we were telling you, but like a beautiful presentation, and people start.
If I went out to a restaurant and they had a water menu, it depends on how high I am.
Yeah.
If I was really high, I'd be like, what's going on, man?
Yeah.
But if I was sober, I'd be like, fuck you, I'm leaving.
Of course.
But if you're really high, you might be like, bring one of everything. Like, let me try all this shit.
Try your water, man.
Yeah. All right, we have an opening clip before we get into our regulars. This is how we open our shows.
Okay.
So we'll play our clip, and we'll get into it. Here we go.
Around June the 21st, when Terrance was Skyping with me, Brent Spiner said, hey, yoo-hoo, Terrance, something's going on with Matthew McConaughey's penis. And what was happening was all of my men's penises were being attacked.
This shit is big time!
Who is Randy? Don't bring anyone mother into this.
Yo, mom in the fucking stand!
Welcome to your mom's house with Tom Segura, and
Christina Pajitsin.
welcome to your mom's house.
He's feeling it.
Of course he's feeling it. How can you not feel it?
Oh, I know.
What's this bros do?
What do you mean?
Attacking penises? What is she talking
Seems
about?
totally rational.
Yeah.
What is her deal?
There's
Yeah.
I'm not
She's
really
got
sure.
that one Forrest Whitaker eye going on. That right eye.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's something about crazy that does something to your, the way you see eyes. Like you could tell, like if you
Yeah.
were talking to her in person, you'd be like, even if she didn't say crazy penis shit, you'd be like, something's up with her. you know?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's the gaze that doesn't break.
That's right. Yeah.
The no
unbreakable-
blinking. Yeah. It's a real indicator of insanity.
It does a lot. Yeah.
There was a very serious malware in the computer system at Church of Gale, and it caused all the men at Church of Gale to cause them to have all sorts of penis afflictions. It was very painful.
Mm-hmm.
Church of Gale.
I think that's her own church, Church of Gale.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
And
think.
why does she think it has to do with Matthew McConaughey?
I don't know, but she goes on.
The ordeal with the penises lasted for at least a good week in that June. So like from June 21st to June 28th, they were just having this ordeal with penises because of Jesuit trigger programming on the Church of Gale computers. They spent a lot of time in sick bay.
We haven't seen a blink
Matthew
yet.
practically had a
No.
vagina at
There's
that
one.
point.
Yeah.
What?
She said
Practically had a
Matthew-
vagina?
Yeah, Matthew's penis went inward. But I think it's funny that she thinks that the Jesuits are targeting her. Usually you don't
Right.
hear them
Well,
mentioned
the
like that.
Jesuits are very affable. They're fun.
Yeah, they're
I went
usually
to a
highly educated.
Jesuit
and-
college. Yeah. They like to drink. They like to party. They're not really into this stuff.
You know what's interesting about her? If you didn't know any better, like if you spoke a different language and you listened to her talk, you'd be like, well, she seems totally rational.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's sitting there calmly. She's not
Right.
moving too much. Maybe she's an expert and like
Sure.
Right.
ancient civilization.
This
or
is how a
something.
lot of cons happen. I'm assuming, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I was watching that Bernie Madoff movie, the new one. It's really good with De Niro and Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, it
Pfeiffer.
looks
It's
good.
called Wizard of Lies, and they were just talking about how like his greatest skill was just people manipulating, and he had this crazy thing where he was. That's the craziest part of all. He was already successful. He was really well off. He was a multimillionaire, and he's still, designed this Ponzi scheme to extract so much more out of people. And they said, because his reputation was such, and he was just knew how to talk to people,
So-
they're just handing over money, man.
He was just in it to fuck people over, like
Yes,
for the fun
thrill-
of screwing people
the thrill
over.
of it. Yes. The
Wow.
thrill.
Well,
that's
I
a
think
real
he just got
sociopath.
super addicted to the cash.
Yeah.
There's a great interview with him on Radio Lab, and it's really interesting because they have to interview him from jail. And so when you call someone in jail, you can only talk to them for 15 minutes, and then you have to wait off the phone for 15 minutes for them to come back on, and then 15 minutes again. So they're interviewing this guy in these 15-minute chunks, and it just cuts off at 15 minutes, and he has to wait.
terrible.
But he's describing, this waiting, and then as time went on, he talks to Madoff more and more. He gets more and more comfortable. But the crazy thing about him is the complete, total lack of empathy.
None.
He has no empathy towards the people he fucked over, people that killed themselves. Like there was a bunch of people that just. One guy, which is really fascinating, he was worth $9 billion, and Bernie was telling him that he had to give 7 of it back. He called the guy up. He goes, "Look, the jig is up. Everybody knows." And apparently, he thinks, or at least his rationale, was that all these people, like the big high roller guys, they knew that they were ripping people off. They knew that there was no way you could always make money. That there was always going to be fluctuation. But like even in like the way they describe it, I don't really necessarily understand finances that much, but the way they were describing it is that in like every single move they made, this one guy wanted to make money.
Yeah.
Every single, like there was never, you couldn't ever show any losses at all, or this guy would freak out. And he had like, again, $7 billion in the mix.
Nuts.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said in an interview that when they were like asking him about, you destroyed all these people's lives, he was like, yeah, what about their culpability in all this? And they were like, what? And he's like, well, I mean, they have some responsibility. And they're like, you stole from them. And he's like, yeah, but they fucking gave me the money,
Yeah, his thing
Like,
was like
yeah.
these people they're not starving. That's what his thing is.
Yeah.
Like we're not talking about people in Africa. We're not talking about starving villagers. We're just talking about people.
His own son killed himself.
Really?
Yep. His
One of them
own
did.
son killed himself.
Jeez.
This guy killed himself that we're talking about, the $9 billion guy.
Yeah.
He killed himself because they wanted him to give back 7. He's like, I can't live with 2. Fuck that.
That's so funny.
Wow.
People's relationship with money. There was I forget, it was
Actually, he might not have killed himself. He might have drowned.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it might have just took too many drugs, but
There was
might have killed himself.
a New York Knick, I forget his name, and they were interviewing him about, these NBA contracts are bananas.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's fully guaranteed. It's one of the leagues that has fully guaranteed money. So not like the NFL where it's like you have this much guaranteed, the rest of that, you're not getting that shit. So NBA, whatever, there's salary caps, and he played out one of his contracts, and they're like, we want to keep you, but we can't give you like top end money. So you're going to get $9 million for next year. And then his first interview with the press, he was like, I mean, it's going to be tough, but I'll see what, I'll try to make it happen. And they're like, are you going to be tough to survive on that? And he was like, pretty much, yeah. Like, I mean, I have a family. You got $9 million, man. He was like,
It's just perspective, man.
Yeah.
People get crazy.
yeah.
Well, yeah, because if he's going out, I mean, I follow all these kids on Instagram, like Cameron Dallas. Do you know who that is?
No.
He's like the millennial hot shit. He's like this hot 18-year-old boy, and he and his friends. They
We have to
just,
get into this business.
You're
This is
gonna
a great
die.
business. Listen to this.
They don't have talent. They're just like cute boys on Instagram, and they do these meet and greets where they meet like gaggles, just auditoriums, theaters full of like tween, pre-adolescent girls and their parents, and they hug them and take like chaste pictures. And millionaires.
Millionaires.
He's on a Dolce and Gabbana
there's
ad.
no skill set.
None.
Before
No
the
talent.
meet. It's just they follow them on Instagram, and
So
they're like
good.
cute teen boys.
Yeah.
Really?
And then they
Yes.
get paid to meet the people.
It's fascinating. So there's a Netflix show called is it Chasing Cameron?
Yeah.
And I'm obsessed with it. Now the thing is that they're spending their money like crazy because I follow them all on Instagram, and every week it's like, here's my new Ferrari, here's the new Lamborghini I'm leasing, here's the new house I'm renting, and you're like, you're not even buying the
buy
house.
some shit.
Like,
Buy that house, dude. Get some equity going.
Yeah.
But they're 18.
Yeah.
Yes.
But they're also like, I think
it's
they
so
don't
great.
realize that window of cute girls or being cute and the girls being like, it's you, is very limited.
Yeah.
Everybody said that about Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, I guess so, right?
But they keep growing new ones. You know what I'm saying?
New
It's like
Kardashians?
yeah, like in the different strokes when they added like the red-haired kid to make the show appealing again.
You're talking about the Chase or the Kardashians?
No, the Kardashians.
Oh.
So now Kylie's being groomed to be
right.
the next
Do you think that's
Kim.
what keeps it going? It's because I think it's all about Kim.
Really?
Yeah. It's Kim and
She
Kanye.
is kind of, even though
it's all about
there's
her.
a real mother, like Chris, Kim
Yeah.
is like the matriarch of the.
Did you guys cover her fake ass?
No.
The
do you
fake ass
mean?
photos from Mexico?
No, but I think I saw some of those.
Oh, well, here's the deal. They always hire their own paparazzi, and the paparazzi pretends to just casually catch them taking pictures. But in Mexico, there was real paparazzi waiting along with their fake paparazzi. So their fake paparazzi takes the photos, and then they edit them. And they smooth out all the cellulite and all the
Because
bullshit.
who doesn't have it? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's normal human part of
Yeah,
human, especially if you have a big fat ass
yes,
like that.
it's made of fat.
But it's a fake fat ass, and it's super obvious in the new pictures. Look at this.
Really?
Yeah.
Get your life cut, Kim.
That's the real one. Like, look at the ones on the left. Like, where in life would you have? That's
Yeah.
a tumor.
Right.
right.
That's a full diaper.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a full diaper and a
It
tumor.
totally is, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
her legs are so scrawny, and
Yeah.
then she has this giant,
It's enormous.
fake butt. So
Yeah.
what they would do with Photoshop is
Wow.
stretch out the thigh to meet the ass, so it doesn't look so fucking
So
gross.
is this like a
that's
doctored one? Yeah.
Doctored.
Yeah.
See the difference?
Wow.
Yeah.
The doctored ones,
Yeah.
they make it look less preposterous.
Right.
But the real one, it just looks like cheese.
hilarious.
Gross. It's
Well,
like
of course.
it's
Yeah.
just a like that. What the fuck is that? What is that? What are you doing to your ass?
know,
it's
it's
so
crazy.
gross.
That is
It's so
gnarly.
crazy.
But it's so nuts that someone
Oh, there's a good one.
wants to do that to their body. Like she's
Yeah.
stuffing something in there. I don't know what it is, but there's no way in nature you would have those skinny ass legs like that
No.
that are total unathletic legs. That's
Right.
the
Look at
legs
that.
of someone who doesn't
And
work
that's like
out.
her sister. Yeah, exactly. Right. There's no muscle at all.
No,
in there.
nothing. I mean, she maybe works out a little bit. Like, look at her scrawny arms. Like,
Yeah.
she's not an athletic person.
Right.
If you have an ass like that, you should be able to jump over the moon.
Right.
Right.
Right? That's someone who can do hurdles.
But she's got a good. So do you think? Wait, but she looks good everywhere else. These are all photoshopped. What
mean,
you're saying? The
it's hard to.
front,
I
like-
mean, it's hard to say.
Yeah, the stomach looks
Everything's
good.
fake.
Wow.
I mean, when you say she looks good, it's like, yeah, she's not fat,
Right.
but
yeah.
but that's it.
So
Everything
this-
else is just all surgery.
This is the
definitely,
infamous- yeah.
Yeah, it's a totally
fake as fuck.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's her whole thing. She's known for her ass. Like Jennifer Lopez has a legit Latina ass.
Crazy
Like that's
ass.
her real ass.
Yeah.
Her legs match that ass.
Right.
Like take a picture. You go get
Yeah.
Jennifer Lopez's ass. She's got those big, thick mommy thighs.
Yeah.
Like and
Yep.
big ass. And
Mommy thighs.
That's all there. That's real. You know, you look at that. You go, ooh, baby.
Yeah.
That's real. That's a real big, juicy ass.
She got that ass, girl.
Yeah, see how her thighs are so thick? They
Yeah.
meet the ass.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's all
That's a normal-
proportionate.
So that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. That's what it's supposed to look like. She's a dancer. Oh, classy.
Yeah.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. That's dancing all fucking
Yeah.
day,
All
six
our
days
life.
a week. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an athlete's ass.
Yeah,
So
you're
that's a girl who can, yeah, you do. That's a girl who can bounce around and move and, you know, I mean, can you imagine if you
Yeah.
had to watch Kim Kardashian dance on a stage?
No.
Those little spindly legs carrying that diaper around.
Yeah.
It does look like a
It's
dirty
a full
tie-dye.
baby diaper.
That's-
Yeah.
that's
We see
fucking
that all day with our
Yeah.
son. It totally looks like
Yeah.
See, that's what an ass, a big, juicy,
Yeah.
real
Right.
ass, is supposed to look like. It's not preposterous. It's just outstanding.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know she had a butt implant. This
She's got something
That looks
going
that
on.
My
more
mind
than
is
one, I would
blown.
say. That's
See,
crazy.
there's a photo there that has the two of them side by side. You just
Where are they?
cursored over it right there. That's Jennifer Lopez and Kim Kardashian. The one with the white right here.
Here? Here. Here.
Yeah, that right there.
Okay.
See,
let's
the one on the left is Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
That's a real ass. The one on the right is Kim Kardashian.
Is it?
Yeah, what am I
think you're-
ass obsessed? I'm figuring.
I
think so.
know.
Shut
Why do
the
you know
fuck
so
up.
much
You are.
about this?
I don't know.
Spend some time doing this, man.
I got issues.
Yeah.
Swim down the wormhole on this.
Well, it's a very bizarre thing.
It is a bizarre
Our
thing.
attraction to shapes is very bizarre too.
True.
Like fake tits. Like we know they're fake.
That always astounds me. Like it's not that they look like bigger breasts; they look like big fakers.
And we don't care.
It's a different thing.
And guys like it.
Some guys.
Yeah, some
I would
guys,
say
yeah.
some guys. I mean, some guys, meaning it's a ton of guys, but
Yeah.
some guys make that distinction. Like, I'm definitely not into that. You know?
Yeah.
See, but I mean, you've said this before: is that you'd prefer hungry tits over big fakers
Yeah.
any day?
Hungry?
Hungry little ones, yeah, that won't need to be fed. Yeah. I would rather give spoonfuls of just pasta to those hungry tits than.
Yeah.
I don't like big fakers, man. I just
Yeah, there's
not into it.
something weird about them for sure. It's like
Now,
a trick.
I will say a really good job of fakes. Like there are some magicians out there.
Yeah.
That create amazing. Like they still look. You still go like, oh yeah, those look good.
Yeah.
But I still prefer real ones. I don't know. I just like them more.
I think so. Look,
Well, there's
I got,
also a body dysmorphia thing.
yeah,
Right?
because where does it
Yeah.
end? Look, once you have a baby too, your tits get mushy. That's it. That's just it's nature. So what should I do? Should I hoist them up? Should I have them reduced?
Don't talk about it, first of all.
Yeah.
Keep that shit to yourself, or no women are going to have kids, and our population's going to die off.
That's true.
You got a mom bod.
Keep it quiet, Jesus.
But it's fine. But what you got to surrender. It's also
Yeah.
part of life, man.
Yeah,
I know
for
it's
sure.
it's the trade-off for making life. It's
Now, are these real or are these
Oh,
fakers?
Jesus.
Being semen.
excited for
Being a
this.
personal trainer and nutrition advisor, I'm very much into fitness, having a clean and healthy body. There are surprisingly a lot of nutritional benefits from eating semen, some of which I'm going to read out to you now.
She eats a lot of cum.
One
Yeah.
teaspoon of semen contains over 200 proteins, several helpful vitamins, minerals,
Vitamins.
including vitamin
Vitamins.
C, calcium, chloride, citric acid,
Chlorine,
fructose,
that's not good for
lactic
you.
acid,
Nitrogen.
magnesium, nitrogen,
B12.
phosphorus, potassium, sodium, vitamin B12, and zinc.
Ugh.
Wow, that's a lot in a shot. Please excuse
In a
the
shot.
pun.
Imagine if that was your kid.
So,
Your kid's on YouTube talking about eating cum.
Yeah.
We should all eat cum.
Well, what I like about this, because we've had other cum eating clips on the show, is the science that this woman has put towards
Yeah.
it. That she's a fitness expert, which is kind of neat. We don't often have experts. You know?
Yeah.
What does that mean, though? What do you have to do to be a
Right.
fitness expert?
You can just say you are.
Yeah.
I think.
Like
Work
being
out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a
Read some
life
books.
coach. Anybody can say that. There's
Put on
no
that.
certification.
Put on that sports bra, and then you're like, I'm a fucking fitness expert.
Yeah,
Get
the
the
life
belly.
coach thing is a weird one.
Yeah, it's a bunch of
Anyone can
bullshit,
sign
too.
up for that shit.
I was watching Anthony Robbins' Instagram stories.
Uh-huh.
Tony Robbins is in he's in Australia, and he gets out to that what's that Black Eyed Peas song, Tonight's Gonna Be a Good Night, and he's out there, yes, and he's clapping with his big fucking Frankenstein hands, Ma, fire, and he's like stomping around on stage.
Yeah.
But it's all like, it's like his energy is kind of forced.
Yes.
And he's got
Yes.
he's a little too wide around the waist, which means he's eating a little too good.
Yeah.
He's living it up a little too much. And so, yes, we're all excited. We're going to prosper here.
Everybody say I.
Yeah.
That one makes me crazy.
And it says in one of the photos, I saved the photo because I was laughing so hard. I saved it on my phone because it said Savage. There's a picture of him, and he's dancing around clapping, and it just says Savage. I'm like, settle the fuck down, buddy.
Yeah.
Here. Where is it?
He, by the way, that life coach thing.
Look.
Let me see.
Savage.
Savage.
That's on his Instagram story.
So
Why is that
ridiculous.
savage?
It's him with his hands in his pockets, with his
Right.
dad bod.
Relaxed.
Some savage.
So, I agree. I like Tony Robbins a lot, but
I do too.
the fake energy thing. If I went to his seminar and he made me fucking stand up and do jumping jacks every 5 minutes, I'd blow my brains out.
Everybody
I don't
like-
like that stuff.
He's like,
Yeah,
out there,
yeah.
go, let's go, He's a fucking monster.
He's a giant human,
He
right?
has a giantism or whatever.
Does he actually?
He
Yeah.
does. Has a
You
pituitary
can tell it too, like
issue.
because like even the jaw, the
Yeah.
facial features.
So he has like a very mild form of it. Is
I
that
think
what it is?
so. Yeah,
Some
Think
form.
he has
yeah.
a giant hog.
probably.
Yeah.
It's
I bet
gotta
it's
be.
part of what his confidence is,
For
right?
gotta
sure.
ask him.
Every time he's probably meeting with his team, and there's enough pushback on something. He goes, "Let me show you something."
It's a fat roll of
Stands up.
carpet.
He's like, "Look at that thing."
Slaps that thing down on the
And then
table.
the intern's like, he's got a point.
Rolled up pizza dough. Just
Oh yeah, it looks like one of those Cinnabons you buy at the grocery
Yeah, they
store.
pop open.
Right,
pop
right,
open.
right.
Sure.
I love
bread
those.
comes out.
Those are good.
Those are so good.
By the
Speaking
way,
of good, look how thin you are.
Thank
you
you,
healthy
buddy.
bastard.
I've
Look at you.
been working at it.
Thinner than Bert still, I think.
Oh, yeah, Bert went right back.
By the way, so that whole
Wait,
experience.
read her comments though. Do you think?
Oh, yeah, this is
Do you think
hilarious.
people are?
This is hilarious.
I've
can't
been
stop
drinking
there.
comfort
she-
vitamins for years.
She's I know.
Oh,
it's so-
she's got cum in a bowl?
It's a friend.
It's a friend,
She's like, I'm not in a relationship. A friend did this for me.
A friend.
What a nice
Yeah.
guy.
Well, listen, I would say, honey, I'll come in the bowl for you, but honestly, the best way is you just suck it out. That way you get it all. I mean, just for your sake. You know what I mean? You
I
don't
know.
wanna-
I have a feeling a lot of guys feel that way
Let me
too.
watch this.
Yeah, I know.
If this isn't porn, I'm not into watching people eat cum.
I know.
It's weird because outside of porn, it's disgusting.
I think
But
in porn, by the way, when it's like 8 dudes in a glass, that is fucking gnarly.
Oh, those are my
shit.
favorite. I have those
You like
bookmarked.
those?
No. I have them all bookmarked. Oh, there's not enough guys. Only 8 guys. She's hungry. Feed her.
And it's so like you can tell the real savages in porn who are just like and they keep it and it's like
Yeah.
no big deal. But you can also see in the face, like you can read someone's
Oh, yeah.
when they're like and you see that and they're like
The flinchers.
the flinch, yeah, and they're
One's
like,
the fake enthusiasm.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I
It's
mean,
gnarly.
But you got to think the ones that are really into it. Like, no, they're not. I mean, you've got to be so fucking damaged to be like, I love 8 of it, 8 guys, 10
I
guys.
know. It's
Right?
not.
A teaspoon that was produced
Oh, mommy.
to give you an idea. It's on the
She's going to get
Oh.
close to the camera.
It has that kind of. It smells quite mellow.
Smells like
No.
bleach.
Oh, that's not my nose.
Oh,
Closer.
no. Don't want
There's
that.
even more benefits to drinking semen for women because it's
Oh, there you go,
actually an
babe.
antidepressant because it contains melatonin.
I can
Oh
just
my God, I
take
don't know why she keeps
melatonin.
teasing
Ooh,
the
yeah, you
audience
just
with
get
it.
that from vitamins. All right. Don't.
Ooh, I just got the
don't.
chills for real, though.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, she's showing it to you. She's dripping in her
You
mouth.
nasty as
You
hell.
nasty.
Salty.
Surprisingly salty.
No, it's not surprising.
Well, let's
It's
see
cum.
if everybody's
The guy who
who's
served
what
it
they're
to you.
writing. I produce some of my own semen videos. Watching this. Give me a call if you ever need some straight from the source.
Right from the tap.
I hope you at least give the donor a hand job, you selfish twat. I have lots of semen I can unload on those big breasts. Jesus Christ.
Why not disable the comments
I
for
know.
this
No,
video?
no,
like,
no,
is she so?
Keep
man.
him rocking.
Would you date her knowing she's drunk? She's drank so many cum shots? Yeah, of course.
Yeah, who cares?
I used to have a whole bit about that.
Yeah?
I dated a girl once, and she told me that when guys drink fruit juice, especially pineapple juice,
Oh, yeah.
it makes your cum taste better. And I was like, how many dicks do you have to suck before you figure that out?
Yeah.
Like, that's
It's not
that's
one
like
or two.
asparagus?
Right. Yeah,
Not
right.
good. Okay, let's try roast beef. It's like the idea that you figured that out through trial and error. Like, there's something really delicious about your cum today. Like, what's different?
What did
And
you
then-
have?
Let's
Right.
go over my diet.
To do an autopsy of it too. or
Oh, I
whatever.
drank some water and
I ate a pineapple at lunch. I got some water from Hungary. That helped.
Did you? One thing I don't think you got to see throughout. There was a 4-month buildup basically to the weigh-ins, the Bert Who Is Fat weigh-ins, where Bert Kreischer and I came on your.
Well, I did see a little bit of it
Yeah.
on Instagram and on Twitter with the hashtag Bird is Fat.
You saw some of
hashtag.
that. Did
Yeah.
you see how? I mean, like we had. I want to show you this. This is like people would call in or like send in videos saying "bird is fat" in different languages.
Oh my gosh,
no, I didn't
it
see
was
that.
amazing.
Why is Bert Chrysler so fat?
Bert Rauer.
Kurwa, dlaczego Bert Chrysler jest taki gruby?
Bert Kreischer, you are a fat cunt. You're a fatter cunt than Tom Segura, mate.
And then this was my
International's
favorite
the
thing.
best.
This was amazing. People that listen to the podcast that teach English as a second language would use the whole fat battle to teach English abroad in different countries. So this is in India, in Japan.
He's fat. You have a
Oh my
great
God.
problem. You have a
It's in India.
Art Chrysler. Art Chrysler.
And you are fatter than Tom.
Oh my God.
Doesn't go to the gym.
Whistler?
Is fat.
Oh my God. Does this freak you guys out when you see how popular this is?
I love it.
Yeah. When I mean, there was. I remember the first time we figured out that anyone was listening. It was back when we were with Red Band. So this is like 2010 or 2011, and we were doing shows, and we put out a thing like, "Hey, tweet this," and the first time that we saw like the next day that it was pages of people tweeting it, I was like, "Oh, there's actually people." I thought there was like 100 people listening to this thing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I didn't have any idea of it, but when they got to this thing, and they're coming in from different parts of the
From the world. And
yeah,
then we did a thing of "Hey Mommy, thanks jeans," where we would go through. So you've seen those,
Yeah.
where you just say that to like the teller, and then we started getting submissions from all over the world,
All
from
over the world.
police. The
Police did
police
it.
people,
like in the squad car.
Yeah, in the squad car, pulling people over. It was.
We had a cop
It's so
do it.
fun.
He ordered his whole like on the job. He used all the inside language to order it. And, like he's in uniform and like it's just bananas, man.
Yeah, it's weird.
I
right?
like, you know what I like is the silliness of it. Like
Yeah.
the fact that all over the world, something that's stupid, it's a shared joke.
Yeah.
You know, like that's what I like. Stupid.
For Christmas, why so fat? But it's fat.
Yeah, we just got like hundreds of these, man. Like hundreds of them.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, it's strange, right?
It's
Yeah.
strange.
This whole podcast thing is very odd.
Yeah.
Your podcast, by the way, like I remember doing. I'm on like I think episode 3 or 5 of your podcast.
Wow.
Like somebody sent me the thing once. They have like it documented all the episode numbers, and they're like you're on like one of the first 5 or 7. And I remember it was on your couch in your office at home.
Yeah.
And you kept telling me to sit forward. You're like,
Yeah, the
"Sit."
couch is weird.
Yeah.
Like couch seems like it's a good idea, but it's a terrible idea.
But I wanted to ask you, who gave, like, I remember you said that, like, you like the Opie and Anthony model of, like, just talking.
Yeah.
But did anyone else have one where you're like, oh, people will listen to this? Like, were you thinking of someone else's podcast? Like, how did you know anybody would listen to one?
I think Adam Carolla had a podcast.
He had it
at
back
the
then?
time. I think he did. But when he had it, it was like a radio show.
Yeah.
He did his like a radio show.
Still does, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Well, that's actually his downfall now, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I think people they don't want to hear commercials every 15 minutes.
Right.
It's not necessary, you know? And I think I just liked how Opie and Anthony had just people come in with no structure.
Yeah.
A bunch of comics and just hang out and start talking.
Did you ever imagine, like, that your podcast would be, like, where it's at now is crazy, man. It is really crazy.
No, there's no way I could have imagined it. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have believed it.
It's so nuts.
No, it's just
Bananas.
Yeah, I just thought it was fun to do.
I mean, and like people mention it to me all the like when I'm in an airport, they'll mention they're like, it still happens. They'll even mention the weight loss. Like I saw the weight loss podcast last week, and like, but
that
I mean, it's
podcast
everywhere.
one episode got more than 6 million, and the other one was like close to 7 million.
That's so crazy.
That's nuts.
Downloads.
That is nuts.
And that's
man.
then there's YouTube. Like,
views on top of it. Yeah,
millions on YouTube.
Yeah.
How
It
did
was
you
amazing.
even know? How did you know? I mean, I remember we heard, oh, Joe's doing a podcast. Well, what is that? Like, how
Yeah.
did you even hear about something
Well,
like
I
this?
started doing it on Justin TV, which was like this online webcasting thing way back in the day. And what we would do is we would do it live from the green room. And Joey Diaz would always get mad. Shut that fucking thing off.
Yeah, yeah.
We'd have a laptop and we'd be streaming from a laptop, like from the little webcam. So we'd have a little. This was back before laptops had webcams built in.
Yeah.
So we'd put a little webcam on top of it.
Sure.
And we'd talk,
Right.
and people would
Oh my
like.
God.
And you were
ask
doing that
Remember this.
before all this?
Yeah. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then that was probably like 2003 or something.
Whoa.
Like that. Yeah.
That's really long ago.
Yeah. And then when I got back from Colorado, I was kind of bummed out. And I had to move back to California because my wife was pregnant and, we couldn't live at altitude because we were like in the mountains.
I went to that house.
I was so happy up there.
I remember that. I went to that house when you were checking it out. 'Cause
Yeah.
we were doing Comedy Works.
That's right.
And we
Yeah.
drove up there, and man, it was like up this crazy road, and like a narrow mountain road,
Yeah.
and at the very top, it was beautiful.
Oh, it sounds amazing.
Well, for me, it was a perfect combination like it was the perfect balance for like these shows where all these people and the UFC, all these people, and then up there just nature and quiet. I was like, oh, this is what I need. I need to balance myself out.
Sure.
Like just to have enough calm so that all this craziness sort of makes more sense.
Yeah. Now, so the show, the podcast obviously has gotten bigger and bigger. We've been talking about, because we all know people that have, like, you were a well-known guy when I met you, for sure, but you've gotten considerably more famous, but you're not a crazy lunatic.
Yeah, how does that work?
How does that work, you think?
I don't know. What do you mean?
But I mean, like, we all know people that, like, can't handle fame well.
Well, I do a lot of really difficult shit outside of comedy.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it.
Do you think
part
so?
Of it, yeah. I think part of it is, first of all, I have zero obsession with fame. Like, if all my fame went away tomorrow, I'd be totally fine with it. As long as I have health and as long as I can pursue my interests, I'm 100% fine with it.
Yeah.
I'm not really interested in fame. I'm interested in doing a good job.
Yeah.
Like, I know that when people come to see me that I have a massive responsibility and I work hard on my stand-up and I work hard on my writing, and if I have a bad set, it will fuck me up for months.
Yeah.
You know, and it'll make me, like, batten down the hatches and grind harder. Like, I don't take it lightly at all.
Right.
So that's part of it, too. But it's also, I do a lot of different stuff. Like, I do yoga, I do jujitsu, I do archery, I do a lot of working out. I've been running recently. I do difficult shit, and in doing difficult shit, you get humbled. Like you're always getting your ass kicked. Like when I run the mountains near my house.
Yeah.
It's so fucking hard, man. Like every time I do it, like I know like that there's people that can do it way better. I know there's people that are in way better shape. And I know that every time I do it, I get a little bit better. And so I just keep pushing at it.
Yeah.
So I just concentrate, excuse me. I just concentrate on doing difficult things.
Do you think, though, that, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that that's probably a way healthy thing of doing. So basically you're saying that I'm not focused on my ego and making me a bigger star, more famous. That's usually what people do, right? Like, I got to grow this thing. Your focus is external, which I think is better as a human being.
Yeah,
right?
I think it's definitely better as a human being. I think I have zero focus on being more famous. Zero.
Right.
I pass on everything. Like as far as like doing talk shows or doing magazine articles or interviews, I pass on everything.
I never see you.
Yeah,
That's
I don't do
right.
shit. I don't do shit.
So do you think maybe that these people who don't handle it well, it's that their whole focus becomes just that? They're like,
Well, when you hear about them too much, like Amy Schumer's a perfect example. You hear about her way too much. Like there was this big Google story. I pulled up my Google. There's a story about her breaking up with her boyfriend. There was a story in Google that she broke up with her boyfriend. Like, why the fuck is that a story?
Right.
Because everything's a story. Because she's probably got a publicist, and the publicist wants to make sure you get your name out there all the time. Guess what? People get fucking sick of hearing you.
Oh, yeah.
So if people want, and I'm sure people are sick of hearing me too, but if you don't want to hear me, it's easy. It's easy to not hear me. Like, you got to go looking for me to hear me. I think the more you put yourself out there, especially today, with we're not talking about the 1990s. Like with social media, it's so easy to get the word out for all the different things that you want to do, that there's no need to do all that other stuff.
Yeah.
And if you start doing all that other stuff, I mean, you can gain a few new fans, but you also get annoying.
Yeah.
You know, we all know people that are just overexposed.
Yeah.
You know who taught me that? Daniel Tosh.
I was about to bring him up.
He's
him
the
up.
best.
Yeah, and he has that thing. He doesn't do talk shows.
He's the best. We talked about it
at
the Improv, and he made total sense with me, and it really, really like cranked home. You know, really like, wow, yeah. He's like, yeah. He goes, I don't do anything. He goes,
Wait, sorry, go ahead.
No, he was just like, I'm already famous enough.
Right.
Yeah, and he goes, I'm doing an hour a week on a television show.
That's enough.
Where like they get to see me like
So-
on TV, so I don't need to do more than that. Like there's millions of viewers watching this thing. So.
And also, I guess the thinking being, those who like me are already engaged with me.
Yeah.
Why am I annoying the rest of the world? Like, if you're not into it.
Well, my
then-
podcast built up 100% from someone telling other people.
Right.
100%. I didn't do anything to promote it. I've never done anything. I've never done...
That's bananas.
Yeah. I had one big bump when Rolling Stone did a story on me, and that was one of the most uncomfortable weeks. That guy following me around and hanging out and staring at me and writing things down. Like, oh.
Yeah.
It's like weird.
But that did give a bump, though?
Yeah, that was a bump, for sure. That gave me a bump. But all the other bumps were it was a gradual, slow sort of escalation until about maybe 2 years ago. And then it just started really ramping up like ridiculously, like many millions more per month. Every month, millions more. And it just started getting scary.
We always referred to, like when I'll talk to other people about it too, about your model of, because I feel like it's definitely one of like your ideas. Just hit them with content. In other words, just put stuff out there all the time. Because that's like every week. I mean, I'll just be on Instagram and I'll see you're like, this. You had a physicist on, then you have a comedian on, then you have a fucking hunter on, and you're just like, well, I'm just putting stuff out there, and then whatever you want, consume it. You know.
But it's also, honestly, it's selfish because these are all just people that I want to talk to.
Yeah.
So like if I had Lawrence Krauss in the studio, who's a theoretical physicist, I have questions. I want to ask him about the birth of the universe.
Yeah.
What he thinks the boundaries of infinity are, and all these different fascinating people. So I have these one-on-one conversations with no interruptions for 3 hours with someone who you would never get a chance to do that in real life. Because if you were at a dinner table with them, they would get up to go to the bathroom, they'd check their phone, other people would chime in, someone else would come over.
But this is your own conversation.
It's just you and them alone in a room just staring at each other, and you get an education through that. Like I've become a much better conversationalist. I think I understand people better. I understand motives better. I understand interaction better. I understand ego. I understand all kinds of weird stuff you pick up. It's like data chunking. You just sort of recognize patterns in people and you start applying them. I just have a much better understanding of myself and of people and of being a good conversationalist.
Yeah, you're definitely highly skilled at it now. I mean, not that you weren't before, but I mean, I think it's obvious. Like it's a skill you develop because you work on it all the time.
Well, it's crazy because I never thought it was a skill.
Yeah.
Before I started doing podcasts, I would never thought being a conversationalist is a skill.
Yeah.
I would have thought, you just talk to people,
I notice it more like as somebody that does podcasts a lot when I watch, especially if I watch a television interview, I can tell, or I listen on the radio, I can hear that, this host is a giver, like a gracious host. He's letting his subject, say what he has to say. And then I can also feel like, the host is trying to dominate. Like you pick up on it. Like you're like, he's making it about himself all the time.
That is an issue with people.
Yeah.
Like sometimes someone will interrupt a really good story and take a sidetrack where they talk about themselves, like they have an opportunity to talk about themselves, but you're in the middle of a story.
Oh, Brian.
And you've done this.
Yeah.
And it just becomes a real problem.
Yeah.
'cause a lack of awareness and a clumsiness can really sabotage and throw a monkey wrench into the gears of a conversation.
Yeah.
And it makes it real awkward because the other person's aware of it and they're trying to be gracious and get through it. And then, when someone else is talking, when two people are having a conversation and someone else is just kind of like clunky, like it affects the way you're able to communicate. So like as a host of a podcast, when you're having a conversation with someone, part of the skill of it is like trying to figure out how to get that person the most comfortable and the most relaxed and then the most like asked the questions with enough economy of words to get them to express themselves the cleanest.
Right. That's why I don't like participating in or listening to podcasts with too many mics.
No.
Yeah,
I don't
I've
like
done
it.
them.
Yeah.
They get rough.
worst.
Yeah.
They get rough.
It's too much.
Yeah.
And usually what happens is, at least for me as a listener of one of them, I'll be like, every interesting point that I was looking for, like I can hear coming, gets derailed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well.
Gives
I
me
can't-
anxiety. Even
Yeah.
watching CNN sometimes, they'll
Oh,
do the
yeah.
split, and there's like 6 people on there,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I just want to hear one person, dude. I don't want to
Yeah.
hear all this. Makes me
Yeah,
nervous.
it's too much.
Reminds me of
CNN does like 9 sometimes.
Yeah, it's too much.
too many experts.
And they're all just like trying to get their sound bites in.
Yeah.
It's so obvious. I was watching something on Trump the other day, and it was just fucking gross.
What do you
man.
think of
no.
this whole current state of things with Trump?
It's what happens when you get a guy who does not understand what being president is and is used to running businesses.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you let him run the presidency and he's trying to run it like a business.
Yeah.
He's firing people that he doesn't agree with. Like I didn't know that the president could just fire the FBI chief like that.
Yeah, I didn't know it either, but
Like when he fired Comey and he's like, he's a real pain in my ass with this investigation. Like, what? Like, it's so obviously obstruction of justice.
I think he has
Right,
he has
obviously.
really wide-ranging liberties when it comes to hiring and firing as
It's
president.
amazing.
Yeah,
And we didn't know about that until
I know
this.
until this happened. Yeah,
Well, because most people have the good sense not to do things like that because it looks bad. It
Right.
looks
people-
suspicious.
People forget, though, that Clinton did the same thing. Clinton fired the head of the FBI as well. And he fired him in the middle of an investigation. I forget what the investigation was. I forget what the circumstances were, but it wasn't as egregious, but it was pretty similar.
because this feels like, I mean, at least from the outside, it does feel like, you know, every day it feels like this is heating up into some like major scandal. Who knows? Because evidence-wise, I know it's always pointed out that we don't have any, you know, smoking gun yet, but it does feel like it's cooking up into something, you know.
I don't know. I think everybody wants it to.
That has that sense too.
Well, it's either, here's a question like what's inappropriate and what's illegal, and I
Right.
think
Right.
a lot of it's been inappropriate, but how much of it is illegal?
True.
Like Sam Harris has a podcast where he had these political experts on talking about what Trump did when he had those Russians over the White House, and he gave them top secret classified information about ISIS wanting
Yeah.
to use laptops to blow planes up.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, you know, when you do that, you've compromised all these people that were embedded in ISIS
Yeah.
that were telling the government about this plan that they have.
Sure.
Now they have to get these people out and hope these people don't get assassinated. Like you can't, like in him thinking that he's sharing information, like, you know, I'll let you know a secret.
Yeah.
Like what you're doing is you're exposing sources.
And you know it's obvious too that like he's the type of guy that loves having that share a secret moment. Like
Yeah,
I'm
for
sure he
sure.
was like, yeah, I gotta
Right.
tell you something.
Well,
And
that's
then they're
the whole
like-
thing with Comey. Like, you know, like he wanted to hug him.
Yeah.
And he wanted to say, look, I hope you can let this go.
Yeah.
Like he's like telling someone to let go a criminal investigation
It's crazy.
Amazing.
into being compromised by Russia.
Yeah.
And apparently they were warned that Flynn guy he was compromised by Russia before he even got into office.
He was warned by the Obama administration,
Yeah.
and then when Yates came over, the deputy attorney general and warned Trump's lawyer about it, they still didn't act for another week or two.
She was a gangster
Right.
at those fucking hearings.
Yeah, she
man.
was.
She was so good.
She was
because
good.
they were trying to chip away at her.
Yeah.
and she was like, "Look, what I'm
Schooling 'em.
Yeah,
Yeah.
schooling them on the Constitution, schooling them on law, schooling them on ethics, and about her responsibility to the American people. It's like, no, I'm not going to institute a travel ban on Muslims. You're out of your fucking mind.
Yeah,
like you can't do that. This is a country of immigrants. You want me to institute a travel ban?
It's so upsetting to me.
yeah.
I can't even.
It's
You know what he's
weird.
like? He's like a murderer, and you know, and they all get caught because they brag about shit. Like
Yeah.
he couldn't help himself talking about ISIS. Probably like I got something good. I got to share it.
Yeah.
I got to brag about the shit.
I
that
love
I know.
all
He's a
the
child.
reports about how they go, it's really difficult because of his short attention span and
Right,
his
right.
he has a tendency to be easily distracted.
Oh,
And he likes
good.
visual aids too.
Oh, good.
If you talk about something, you have to show pictures to him.
Oh my god.
He wakes up and winds down with cable news, and he brags that I don't read. He's like, I don't like reading.
Not
It's
a Rita.
hilarious.
Yeah.
You know, another thing that's hilarious. Let's talk about the shows that he watches. They're number one because everyone knows I'm watching.
Oh, right.
boy.
Like him saying that everyone knows that he's watching these Fox News shows.
Oh boy.
It's hilarious that he believes that that's why they're number one. But we've never had a president like imagine if Obama did that. If Obama said, "Well, the reason why this show is number one is because I watch it, and everyone
Yeah.
knows that I'm amazing."
Yeah.
Like, what?
You're
Everyone loves Obama.
Yeah.
He loves Obama, so
Yeah.
I love him.
Always in the third
And,
person.
yeah, like he was talking about Kanye. Kanye loves Trump. He loves Trump.
Yeah.
You know,
Everyone
like,
loves Trump.
But the fact that he talks about himself like he's fucking Roy Jones Jr.
Oh, my God.
Like when
Yeah.
Roy Jones was in his prime.
Yeah.
And Roy Jones was he was the baddest motherfucker on the planet, and he was talking about it in his prime. It was a way to establish that he was. I mean, it's a psychological thing.
Yeah.
He was like, when Roy Jones Jr. gets out there, Roy Jones Jr. is going to take care of business.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
It
don't
was
hit me.
like a separate power almost, right?
Yeah.
Like he's like, I'm talking about this other aspect of myself.
Yeah, he was talking
Right.
about like this superhuman force.
Yeah.
That was Roy Jones Jr.
Man, when
in the
Tom
ring.
gets on stage, it's just gonna go down.
When
Gonna
Tom
be some
Segura
jokes.
rocks the house, Tom Segura rocks the motherfucking
See,
house.
I wonder
Case
how
closed.
many presidents in the past were this psychotic, but
None.
because of Twitter, maybe it's because of things like Twitter that we now see inside. I mean, what if Nixon was this batshit crazy too, but because of the limited access
You ever
to
seen
social...
that HBO Nixon tapes? That's great. Would they play the actual tapes?
No, I
It's really great.
Well, he had a drunken moment it's a famous drunken moment with a reporter where he was talking about how he has the power to just go into a room and make the decision to kill 6 million people with a nuclear bomb. And that, that hangs over him.
Yeah.
And apparently he was intoxicated when he was talking about this nuclear option power. That's another very terrifying thing about the president.
I know.
The president really does have legitimate power to
wipe out.
To use nukes. I mean, he has a lot more power than we thought they did because there was so much restraint showed by Clinton and even by Bush, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Like Bush has even criticized the Trump administration, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
Bush. I mean, Bush seems like a fucking like a liberal daisy compared to.
He's so reasonable.
It's like Einstein compared to fucking.
Well, the
Trump.
Supreme Court, when the Supreme Court ruled against one of Trump's things, and Trump's like, "I'll see you in court," whereas hey, dude, that was court.
Yeah, that was great. That was the best.
Supreme Court, man.
Yeah.
But like Bush, they showed this clip of Bush losing a similar ruling to the Supreme Court, and his reaction to it was so reasonable.
Yeah.
He was like, well, we have to respect the court and the court's decision, and this is just the way it is. And although I'm disappointed, I understand that they're doing their best. And like
a big part of it, I do think you're right, though, is the lack of Twitter restraint. Because nobody would ever act like that. I know they had there was an article that said they had an intervention last week, and they're like, you're making it harder for yourself, and they were like, and they showed him with visual aids, like when you tweeted this, and then this was the pushback, and these were the articles written afterwards. Like, you gotta fucking stop doing this. So I don't know.
It's hilarious.
It is. I mean, who knows?
It's good. In that we need to know that this is a stupid fucking position that no one should really have.
Right.
No one should really have the ability to just be the top chimp over 300 plus million people. It's crazy that you give anybody that power. There's no reason to.
Unless you raise a philosopher king.
Yeah.
Even a philosopher king is subject to if he has an ego and if he's a human being, he has the same possibility of going out of their fucking minds. It's just too much. Why risk it? It's just there should be way more checks and balances in place.
Yeah, well, you have to be nutty to even want to be president of the
course.
It's an absurd job.
Yeah. They're all megalomaniacs. Without a doubt.
No way.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep at night.
Who knows could be next? Maybe Glenn Moon.
I, Glenn Moon, officially announced my candidacy Armed Forces Commander-in-Chief, Office President, United States of America. If elected, I will serve holy will of God in name Jesus Christ through power Holy Spirit from God in name Jesus Christ. Vote Moon, USA President 2012, November.
There you go.
Oh, he didn't make it, huh?
I don't think he made it, but I don't know if he's going to come back.
Name female person, self-described 18-year-old, former student, Franklin or Churchill High School. I met earlier this year, 2011, Library, Livonia. If anyone knows Amy, whom I last saw entering her friend's house on 6 Mile Road, Service Drive, west of Farmington Road, after I drove her there in my motor vehicle from Library, I would appreciate you giving her my Facebook address, URL. I could use some help securing 18 to 20-year-old vote.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa, and he was doing the sign of the cross while
He
he was
did the
talking.
sign of the cross, yeah.
But that helps.
Yeah,
Could be president.
There's some loons out there.
Yeah, it could be.
What do you do with those? Shoot them in the head or let them live?
I think you got to let them live until they show up at the address that they're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to keep them at containment systems, though. That's a problem. Reagan let them loose, and we need to reel
them in a little bit.
Yeah, there needs to be a park.
Yeah, what did Reagan do? He lowered the bar, right?
He deinstitutionalized the mentally ill. So he unleashed them on the streets.
Isn't it crazy? Because he's a guy who got shot by a mentally ill person.
Yeah.
Who's out now.
Yeah.
Oh, is he?
He's out now.
He has it's like some type of he's out, but he has like supervised. He has to go, I think, to his mother's house or something. But he's not in a prison.
Yeah.
So weird. How old is he, though?
He's probably in the 60s by now.
Oh, he can still kill.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's a bad job, and it's not a smart job. It was a job that made sense back when we were dealing with kings, and we said, well, let's have an elected representative instead of a king. So it was a superior alternative, and then we had all these checks and balances like representative government, and having senators and congressmen and all these different people. They were there to make decisions for the individual states, and the individual states could have their own laws and regulations, and it was a fairly good system for the time. But when you deal with electronic media and our ability to gather information instantaneously, and communicate information, like there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to vote online. None.
Yeah.
None. None. We should all be able to vote online.
At the
and
very
registration
least,
should be super easy.
The very least, all these I didn't know, but all these European countries do weekend voting for national elections, and it ups their turnouts by like 50, 60%.
Yeah, that's a great idea as well. Yeah, there's a lot of different
Saturday
ways.
election.
Yeah,
See, they don't want that though.
Right.
They literally don't want any more participation because, first of all, one of the things that you're seeing with Trump that's really disturbing is you're seeing the rise of the asshole class.
Yeah.
Like there are a lot of assholes out there that were never represented, and they don't necessarily agree with his politics, but they have like an identity thing now. It's more like they're in a group of like-minded people than it is even that it's like a political party. It's like a cult.
It's a douchebag cult. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I see them on TV all the time.
It's legit. Like there's a lot of people that are enjoying this because they're on a team.
Yeah.
And it's like whether they're rooting for the fucking Dolphins or they're rooting for Trump, it's kind of the same thing. They identify with a clan.
Right.
And this clan of people are Trump supporters, right-wingers, whatever they're doing. But they just happen to be Trump supporters and right-wingers. They could be anything else. Terrifying. It's just people love to be in a support group of like-minded
That's
folks.
true.
Of
Yeah.
people that agree to a certain thing.
I don't think they also like. I noticed during the campaigns, it seemed like it was a lot more just fuck the other team, like that kind of thing. It wasn't like about like he makes sense on these points.
No.
It was just like fuck you guys. I'm on
Could you
this team.
imagine if Hillary got into office and was doing all the same things that Trump has done as far as like giving away classified information to
Oh my
Russia,
God.
compromising sources,
I know.
firing the head of the FBI because he was investigating her?
Oh my God.
The lock her up, lock her up, lock her up. All that was like a big chant during the campaign, remember?
Yeah, yeah.
Meanwhile, he's done shit way worse.
Yeah.
Way worser, man.
worse.
Way worser.
Yeah, shit just got way worser.
What's that from?
That's from
Clip. Oh no, the gypsies.
The gypsies, yeah.
They're
There's
like
that-
there's total white trash people, and she's fighting with some other woman. She's like, okay, shit just got way worser. You know
what
missing
else
teeth
is
and stuff.
interesting? That I was listening to the Sam Harris podcast they were talking about.
I like
that
him. His
the
books are good.
Yeah, he's amazing. The real interesting issue is the ebb and flow of support, and that if the pro-Trump media unitedly turned on him, because there was some speculation that they were upset that Trump was doing some things, some intervention things in foreign countries and meddling in other affairs that they didn't want. They wanted more of a separatist sort of like, United States can take care of itself and fuck all those other countries. But when we started bombing Syria, we dropped the Moab bomb and all this different stuff, there was a lot of people that expressed some some discontent. Like, this is not what we wanted.
It's not what we signed up for.
Right.
Yeah.
If it turns and they united as a united front, turn on Trump, the very people that support him, which, by the way, could absolutely happen.
Sure.
For
when
sure.
you're a guy who mobilizes those armies of assholes, they're subject to turn on you, especially if you're clearly an asshole yourself.
Sure.
And if he does enough asshole-ish things, and then one day they just decide to turn on him, they were talking about this, like this could be catastrophic for his campaign. Like it literally could. The very people that put him in office, this same group, if they have someone who represents them better, whether it's a Ron Paul or someone else, someone who they can get with philosophically, but they don't think for whatever reason, they just decide they don't like him anymore.
Yeah.
Which can easily happen.
Totally.
Well, it can happen too because I don't think Trump really believes all the crap that he was saying that he was behind. Like, do you really think he's anti-abortion? Like, how many abortions has that motherfucker probably paid for himself? You know what I mean? Like, he's not about all the stuff that. Do you really believe that? I think he's.
I think no. I
No
think
way.
He's a great. You have to give him credit for being the super talented self promoter.
Right.
Super
He's
talented at
galvanizing them
selling
on-
things in the moment. Yeah, I don't think he believes
He
all
doesn't
that.
believe in
I
all
know that
that
he
shit.
definitely lost at least a segment of people this past week with having his first foreign trip to Saudi Arabia. Like
Yeah.
there was a lot of people that were. I mean, I'm talking about like very very hardcore, far right people that were upset that like, what are you doing going there on your first foreign trip? You should be having them pay us back for 9/11. You should, why are you basically mingling with them, negotiating an arms deal? I mean, it's just there's going to be things that pop up every week that people will, get upset about.
Have you seen the picture of Trump and that Saudi Arabian guy and some other dude holding onto that glowing ball?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's so
weird.
creepy.
What is that glowing ball?
I don't know.
What is that?
I don't
Globe
know. It's
of
a global. It's a
Islam globe.
Yeah, and it's like showing. It's funny too because he was like the anti-globalist campaign guy, right? It was
Yeah.
like America First, nationalism, and then now it's like it's a global. It's all about the whole world.
What
now.
is it with these people once they get into office? Even Obama, once he got into office, like became kind of a different person.
I think, well, especially like when you're in that first term, I think everything just shifts to like I gotta get that second term. That's all they care about. I mean,
you think that's it, or
I think that's a big part of it because they especially like the one thing I will say I think I noticed with Trump is I think at the end of the day I don't think he cares about anything other than winning the campaign, winning votes, winning. For him, I think he's a highly, highly, highly competitive guy, and to him, it's just like everything is about. It's a victory, whether it's this executive order signed. This is like a victory. The when the healthcare thing went down, that was considered a loss. I think that probably was like destructive to his whole psyche. And I think all he wants is to win again, have another shot at the presidency again, only because it means he won, not because he really cares about being president. I think he just wants to win, man.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I mean.
I'm enjoying the campaign, like the coverage of Melania hating him. Like they're claiming stuff like he tries to hold her hand and she swats it away and shit like that.
Really?
I enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a
It makes
lot of
me
stuff
laugh.
they reach obviously for anything, right? Like if you're that's the thing is like the level of scrutiny on everything. It's like they were holding hands and then they let go and they're like she swatted his hand away. Like they want to.
There is a great animated GIF though where he looks over at her and she's smiling, and then he turns away and she's like.
Yeah,
she's like instantaneously.
That's at the inauguration.
frowning. Yeah,
that's amazing.
It's weird.
It is weird.
What do you think
What
that's
goes
all
on?
from?
It reads so clearly too. It's like you can say a lot of these things are you're just, but that seems so much because she's like, and then her
Well,
face
that
is-
seems
yeah.
legit, and also the fact that she doesn't live there.
Yeah.
Well, fuck. Would you want to? She just, that's not what she signed up for. You know what?
What did she sign up for?
She signed up for some BJs and some Skrilla. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Some Fendi bags and
Get
some.
paid. Suck
That's
a few
what's up.
dicks
Right.
and get paid.
That's right. Drinking
Yeah.
your teaspoon a day and then.
How much dick can you suck?
Right.
I mean, think about it. It's a great gig.
Yeah.
Because he's probably only horny a couple days a week.
He's old.
Yeah, he's 75 or something like that. Right?
Yeah.
He can only probably get it up a few days, even with Viagra.
Yeah.
He probably only wants pussy a few days a week.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the days a week, she's driving Rolls Royces.
Shopping
yeah.
in New
partying.
York. Yeah.
Here
Having a
Melania
good life.
Trump.
So
Beam
she's
down.
right here, right? And like, so he's gonna turn back, smile, big smile, right? Yeah. The big smile.
That's weird.
But you forget she's my tribe. This is
Yeah.
actually the coldness of the Eastern Blocker as well.
Yeah.
Like my stepmother had a little of that on her.
Little.
Yeah. A lot, yeah.
Yeah.
So do you
Very
think that
Eastern
it's
European.
also like part of the reason why she accepted this position in life in the first place? It's like there's like a pragmatism, like a cold pragmatism, like this is a good move.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, she was a hot chick, right? She's like a
Yeah, for
model.
sure.
So that's what you got to do. It's, you
Isn't
can't
there,
model
like,
forever.
Pictures of her in a lesbian sort of photo shoot type thing.
I know there's some
nudie
nude
pics
modeling. Yeah,
everywhere.
she did some nude
Yeah.
modeling.
Good looking lady, you know.
Very, very pretty.
There's nudie pics of our first lady. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
It'd be crazy if there was like butthole pics, if she like did spread 'em shots.
Yeah, it looked like a string of spit leading to her fingers.
And we're back to your mom's house. All right. Whew, I got serious for a minute,
Yeah.
but we got back to the important stuff quick.
Oh yeah,
We're living in one of the weirdest times ever in human history.
Yes.
There is, yeah.
Because it's total uncharted territory.
Yeah.
What was that?
Just glassing.
Just glassing. Dude, that's become in the hunting community.
Yeah.
That's become a giant punchline. It is all over. Like I sent you that
Meat
thing
Eater?
from Meat Eater.
Yeah.
They said we're gonna beat you guys to the punchline.
Yeah, and they
just
send
say,
pictures out and just glassing. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's a beautiful photo. They're overlooking this incredible landscape, and everybody just say just glassing.
Do you know that like when that
So
became
funny.
we have all these like little inside jokes. That one went like
Bananas.
so crazy.
Haywire.
It went haywire.
Do you know people brought binoculars to my shows in New York?
Early morning, look at the meadow. This is why we came up here. We've been slipping along this big, huge meadow.
That's a beautiful
big,
meadow.
long, tall meadow. We've been slipping along here, just glassing. And all of a sudden, literally, I didn't even have my head net on.
He's
I'm
so
like,
fired
we're
up.
just
Yeah, he's so
glassing these
excited.
big, huge meadows.
And this also opened up a whole new world for us, which was the excitement of a dad boner. Like when a dad gets really excited about something.
Dad
that-
enthusiasm.
Yeah,
it's not
dad
like any other
enthusiasm.
kind.
It's a different kind of enthusiasm.
Well, yes, it's dad
because
enthusiasm.
it's usually for something that nobody would get that excited about except for that.
Well, you know, he's a very famous boa.
Fred Eichler,
We
right?
figured that
Yeah,
out.
we figured it, yeah.
People are emailing us like,
Yeah.
that's fucking Fred. I'm like,
Didn't
all
I
right.
tell you? I told you too.
I don't remember.
I watch him on TV.
Oh yeah, you did say
Oh.
I watch his show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he glasses the whole like what's
That guy's
the-
killed everything in the world with a compound.
I read it. We read about him
bow.
after. Yeah, he's
Wow.
he's
Yeah.
like killed the animal kingdom.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's killed Noah's Ark with a
Yeah.
recurve bow. With a recurve bow is like a traditional old school bow.
It's like legit. This dude is
Oh yeah, he's
awesome
one of
at
the
this.
best bow hunters in the world,
Wow.
recognized.
Yeah.
So does he know about this?
I don't know. I know we emailed him.
Yeah,
once.
we reached
Yeah,
out,
I'm
but-
sure it reached out.
He's probably upset.
Yeah.
Oh,
think
these
so?
people are all swearing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, he's super nice.
Oh, remember
He
he
must be, yeah.
He had that one. He had a video where he goes and he spanks a little cub bear. That there was a little bear eating out of like a dumpster by his house, and he ran up and spanked it, and he was like, "Ow!" and like ran back, got all excited about it.
So cute.
Yeah, he's like way out in the wilderness. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
where-
I believe he lives in Colorado.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Let's glass.
We have all these
Cut a
other.
moose.
So we started to look for dads that get excited about things. You know, like that we consider him in that category, and like so like there's what foamers are.
No.
Foamers are people that get like
It's not
they're
dirty.
really into trains, and they like will wait at train stations for trains to drive by, and they fucking get really excited.
Or choo-choo.
Why do they call them
We are
foamers?
at
Oh, no.
Paris,
idea.
New York, once again, on the SNC. Yeah, some train coming here southbound on North Creek.
They get really into it, man.
Boy, I don't want to hear that.
Wow, that's cool. Awesome. Well, that sounds. What?
What?
Oh my gosh. Oh my God, it sounds like an Alco. Oh, a 1943 S2. Oh! Heritage equipment of the SNC. Wow! Wow! Look at that. She's a beauty. Oh, it's a BL2. Oh, man. Yeah. SNC, Heritage all the way. Wow!
So these guys just will wait for trains like hours just for a
Foamers.
train. Yeah.
He's so excited about that train.
Right?
So excited.
But don't you kind of envy this guy's ability to
No.
get super stoked on something
No.
so dumb?
No, that guy needs to find pussy.
Yeah. Pussy's so
If he
much
did,
better.
he would just abandon all those numbers he keeps
Yeah.
rattling. It's a F45 629.
The craziest one that we found, because we've been sent a lot of these things, is this fucking guy getting excited about something so goddamn mundane. The,
Trans Canada Highway.
Yeah.
Oh God, I love this one.
I finally found the last section to be paved.
Okay. Okay. Well, here we are. Whew.
This guy doesn't
This
fuck.
is the Trans-Canada Highway, baby. And we are standing in beautiful, sunny British Columbia.
Come on.
At the kilometer marker, 7,128. And this is where I believe, with a 90%, make that 95% chance that this is, in fact, the very place where the Trans-Canada paved its last section. Woo!
I mean, this is about a highway being completed, right?
Wow.
Canada has an asphalt belt, and this is the buckle. Woo!
And
it's a divided highway. Ooh.
he goes running on it,
Oh, I'm winded.
and he comes
Oh,
basically.
the story that this road tells. Oh,
He's running on the highway right now.
time down the middle.
Oh my God.
Oh, oh,
What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh my
oh,
God.
this is a downhill section, fortunately. Oh,
This is so strange.
So
Right?
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's,
like it. It makes me happy every time.
I mean,
Why does it make you happy?
Because I lack that enthusiasm for the road. Like, this guy's found a way to get pumped on something so benign.
See, my
what do you get
brain.
excited about?
I get excited about a lot of shit, but with this guy, I see that and I go, okay, I want to talk to that guy about normal life. There's got to come a normal conversation where he falls apart.
Yeah.
Like there's just
Right.
some normal shit where you talk to this guy about, and he's got some weird disconnect. And well, I don't like to talk
Interesting.
about bathrooms.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And this is where he's sublimating all that weirdness.
Yeah, he's finding
It's a good point.
He's bottlenecking somewhere.
He is,
And you're right about the lack of sexual intercourse. There's no way
Oh.
this guy's or any of these
This
dads.
guy? No.
But that's why they're dads. Cause,
Are you sure they're
know.
dads? That guy might be a loner.
Well, yeah, I think we're labeling dad. You know.
Yeah,
as
you
a-
calling them dads because they're older guys. but-
Yes, I'm assuming that they've shut it down, or their wives have shut it down. The
Yeah.
wife has a very short haircut, and she's wearing culottes and sandals. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like they're just
it's
both
rough.
shut down. Yeah.
That gets sad.
ladies and gentlemen, your Trans-Canada Highway. This is yours, Canada.
There would be something ironically hilarious if you heard bang, bang, and you just see this video is dedicated to all the men and the women who made this great highway possible. Thank you in all caps with
Yeah.
exclamation points.
It's just
Whoa.
those noises though were like yeah,
That's so crazy.
it's crazy.
That's gangbang sounds.
Yeah. I mean, that's for a highway being completed.
That is
I almost feel like
bananas.
he's seen every stretch of it, right? Like that's the thing. Is
Yeah.
Maybe this is like the completion of 10 years of traveling this fucking highway and documenting the whole
Maybe
thing.
we like to think of the backstory. Yeah, was
Yeah.
he there for the construction? Was he part of it somehow?
I had a guy on my podcast, Chris Cage, who's walked the Appalachian Trail. Do you know what the Appalachian Trail is?
Yeah, it's all through the Carolinas, right?
Yeah, you start in Georgia and it goes all the way to Maine. And he walked it. It's like 6 months of walking.
Whoa.
God.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this was like a dream, like his dream.
Just, I don't know. He had it in his head that he wanted to do it.
How did he eat? Did he bring? How does
You
the
gotta-
food work in
You
the
bring
water?
food, you buy food along the way.
Okay,
Yeah, you bring some food.
that's
Yeah.
my only concern.
Now you say
Yeah.
you get excited. You saying that I don't get excited?
Listen, I have an email from a listener I thought would be a nice time.
Okay.
Dear Mommy Tina, I completely understand your need for Tom to have enthusiasm, as my fiance is just as chill and unexcitable as Tom. There is nothing more agitating than being excited for something and only getting a smile from my man. That just proves that you are the personality champ. Personality is all about getting excited, having different moods, and responding accordingly to other people. Clearly, Tom doesn't have what it takes to be considered a champ. It's all you. P.S. I also get farted on and treated like a sister. We are definitely into weird territory. I feel like this only happens with couples who are on the same playing field. Lots of love, Hannah. Thank you,
First of all,
Hannah.
you made a huge mistake in giving out your email address. I just
Yeah.
want to say that.
Yeah.
You're
Ridiculous.
going to get more from Hannah now.
Yeah.
It's
Hannah's going to start crying.
For sure.
I caught him farting on my sister. Things are getting weird.
I can't believe you think I don't get excited about anything.
you seldom. I mean, we discover that Tom gets excited about football, but I mean,
Okay.
seldom is there a big. I mean, you've known him for years too, and
Gets excited when he goes to shows, when he does a great show.
I do. I get excited.
how
about
do
that.
you express your enthusiasm for
I'll
a
be like, "That's
good
a great
show?
fucking show.
Yeah, you can tell. He gets
Yeah.
pumped.
Yeah, I do. I get a rush.
What does pumped look like from Tom Joe?
Fun. I like cars. I get excited by cars.
He does get excited about cars.
I saw one of his cars. And you should have seen.
You
it. I was
do
like,
that,
if you had
yeah.
a video camera on me, I was like, I was glowing at the thing. I was I like cars. I buy car magazines. I'm like
Yeah.
a kid. with
That's
them,
true.
man.
Okay.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the Corvette, right? I had
Yeah,
the Corvette.
that was
Yeah.
fucking so cool.
You do
I was like
like
a little
that.
kid. Yeah, I do like it.
So there you go.
You farted this morning, horrendously. This morning, no, was it last night?
Probably both.
We yeah.
Did you get excited about that too, or you changed the subject?
Well, no.
I was.
We made sweet marital relations, and then afterwards we were, whatever, laying around. And he goes, "You're lucky." I go, "Why?" He goes, "Well, I held in a fart for you that whole time."
Yeah.
And I go, "Wow, what a lucky gal I am."
I feel like
Thank
I
you."
should get credit for that. I feel like
Right.
I feel like some guys would have let that go, and I was like, "Nope, like don't do that right now."
Oh, how
'Cause
sweet.
Yeah, I had just settled in,
Right.
and I was like, "Nah, don't let this go right now."
That's beautiful.
Yeah, see, he can appreciate it.
It's amazing.
Would
I get excited.
Yeah,
talking about this with you guys.
Would your wife be? Would she consider it nice too that you hold? Do you hold them in, or do you?
Yeah,
let 'em
I
fly?
try my best.
Yeah.
And if I do accidentally let one go, I'd let everybody know. Get out of the way.
Get out of the way. Yeah,
Everybody clear
It's
out.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, you got ladies around, you got little girls, right? So yeah,
A house filled with girls.
yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Being a gentleman.
I got the opposite. It's all dicks all day.
Yeah. Dicks and farts.
Dicks and balls and farts.
But in the
Shit.
same, don't you think that you get material out of that? That's probably a blessing for you.
It's a blessing in the skies, and I'm used to it. I'm more male energy.
Wait,
I'm not good with
We
girl
haven't
stuff
done
anymore.
this during the show. You need to do this.
What?
Christina.
My big announcement,
This means there's a big announcement coming.
major. I'm so excited.
What's that sound?
That's
Chips in a bowl.
chips being poured into a bowl. That means there's a big news coming.
Oh.
That's a sound cue. You know how like morning shows will have like air horns or whatever.
Yes.
We have chips in a bowl.
Chips in a bowl.
What kind of chips are those?
I think they're potato chips being poured into
They're
a
so
bowl.
loud. It sounds like
Yeah.
I thought it was gambling chips.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, right.
Oh, that's interesting.
No, I never thought of that.
No, I think
I don't think
it's
there's a distinction made.
But it's so clinky.
It is.
Yeah, I think they're the thin Lay's kind. That's the kind I
okay.
see when I
Maybe
hear it.
Ruffles?
Yeah.
Could be. Yep.
Okay.
Anyways, big news. I'm finally shooting my hour special.
Oh.
There you go.
When are you shooting it?
All right, here it is. The announcement. I can finally make it June 24th at the Showbox Theater in Seattle.
Nice.
Tickets are on thousandranch.com. The link is up. It is active, so you can get those tickets now. Please, mommies, let's pack it out so I can have a great taping. There's 2 shows, 7 and 9:30. Bang, bang.
In the great city of Seattle.
In the great
Yeah.
city of Meat Rattle. I can't wait to go there. We have so many mommies
Yeah,
there.
it's gonna be awesome.
And I'm stoked.
I'm very happy for you. I'm very
Thanks,
excited for you.
Seattle's on the short list of places I would live outside of LA.
Same as me. I like that.
I would
Very.
live there.
It's not
I would
LA,
get through
but-
the winter. I'd just go to Hawaii a couple of times or
Yeah.
something to get through that fucking rainy bullshit
Yeah.
Yeah,
they have
the
to deal
rain
with. But once you get through that, I think like intellectually, I think it's one of the best cities. Like people, they're not as pretentious, but they're smart. There's no showbiz influence, which
Yeah.
I think is one of the things that fucks us up here.
Yeah.
Is the desire for fame. Like there's a total absence of that up there. You see way less fake.
Yep.
Fake tits, fake lips, fake asses.
Yeah,
You
people
see
look
way
like
less of
people.
that. They look like people.
It's a really cool city. I didn't realize, sometimes you just see like one thing in a theater, and so you don't know if you've been there before. I did the more, and I didn't realize until afterwards when I went to the lobby that I'd been there with you because the lobby
yeah.
stood out to me. I didn't realize
Yeah.
it.
Where
You
is
ever been
that,
here
sorry?
before in Seattle?
Oh, yeah.
I did it a couple of weeks ago, and as we were in there, they're like, "You've been here before?" I was like, "Never been here before." And then we got to the lobby, and I was like, "I have been here before," because I remember doing like a meet and greet with you.
Yeah, we've done so many places, dude.
I forget.
We forget them all.
Yeah, I
They
forgot.
all they blend in. You
But
know?
Seattle, I mean,
Yeah.
every time I've gone there, I've had some of the most fun
it's
shows
the
I've
best.
ever had.
Yeah.
That's why I chose that city. I mean, LA is obviously my heart, for
Yeah.
real though.
Yeah.
But what
For
you
real,
said,
though.
the showbiz element, that is the problem for
It's
me
the
too.
problem. There's
Yeah.
not just the showbiz element, but the problem you were talking about with that Instagram kids and the Kardashians. They're not necessarily even showbiz. They're like the attention industry.
It's the attention industry.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
there's so much fake bullshit and so much like flossy nonsense.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Seattle's base is Microsoft and Amazon, and there's a lot of tech money there and a lot of really smart people.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
just, and it's also super green. And I feel like being next to the ocean and super green, like seeing a lot of green mountains, and
Yeah.
is something about that's just better for you.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think so
It's
too.
good for your brain.
And this is
Yeah.
a very like kind of showy town, that we live in. It's like a very like show off thing. I think one of the funny things is like the idea, like that you think you have money in this town, like and people who are trying to come across that way.
Mhm.
Then you go to a town like Seattle, where like no, those 22 people are billionaires.
Yeah.
and they're not even trying to show you that.
Yeah,
that way.
they're wearing like a sweater.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
jeans
like
and-
that.
Bill Gates dresses like a fucking librarian.
Yeah,
He's got
he
like
does.
$80 billion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's odd, right?
It is odd.
What are you doing with all that money?
Yeah.
But he does a lot of humanitarian stuff.
Tons of it. That's
Yeah.
incredible what he's done. And he got a lot of other super wealthy people to donate their money. A lot of them.
Yeah.
Like they do the pledge. So
Well, how about Warren Buffett? He's giving it all away.
Yeah.
that's through
awesome.
Gates. He's done
Yeah.
it through Gates.
Yeah, he's an interesting cat. Like he's literally, when he dies, he will die and leave it all to charity.
Yeah. So and he's been giving a lot. Some of those guys, they've been giving billions as they're alive even. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Warren Buffett also lives in like the same house that he bought like 30 years
Omaha.
ago in
Yeah.
Omaha, Nebraska. And it's
Yeah.
a super normal house.
Yeah. He
doesn't-
drove the same car for like 20 years.
Like, why have all that money then? I
know.
don't understand.
It's
Aren't you fucking flossing? How come you're not balling a little
at
bit?
his level, you should definitely be balling.
Slightly.
A
Now,
little bit.
Is he
yeah.
married the same lady?
I
It
think he's
must
divorced.
be.
He got divorced.
Oh.
Yeah, she got like 1.5 billion, which to him was like, why don't you, like
Stop.
flick.
Get
Stop
out of here.
nagging at me.
Yeah.
Take your little 1 billion.
Take
Yeah,
it, bitch.
Fuck out of
I
my
got
house.
$80 billion. bitch.
Damn.
Yeah, yeah, he's still doing pretty well.
Now, Jew Dork Titties, that's a great city too.
Yeah,
I love
Jew dork titties.
New York City.
yeah, it's
That's
a
what we call it on
different
the
spin
show.
it. Yeah.
That's a place that I would consider living. I would
Yeah.
consider living in New York City.
Not in the winter months.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me that much.
I think it's all about one thing is like in LA after a while, even though compared to most of the country, lifestyle, cost of living is much higher, it's still significantly different than New York. And like I would only go there if I could definitely live at least pretty comfortably. You know what I mean? Like
You'd
it
have to be a
costs-
baller.
You
You have to be a baller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to struggle in New York.
Yeah,
It
my
sucks.
wife once, she's talked about moving there. That's like one place where she said she would go. Like, if you want to go there, I'll go there.
Really?
Yeah. I think she just thinks it's like a big glamorous shopping trip, though.
Yeah.
That's how she looks at it. Oh,
Could
we go
be.
shopping.
Yeah. Well, she's right to a
Yeah.
point. I mean, like there's
Yeah.
incredible
But
shopping
the cold,
there.
I couldn't take the
Yeah, the
cold.
cold's rough.
I don't like
but,
that shit.
you just dress warm. It's not that difficult.
Dude, you be doing like 8 spots a night. I know that you.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't like that many spots as much as I like longer spots.
Right.
I think longer spots, like 2 long spots, I take 2 1.5-hour spots over 8 15
Yeah,
minute spots.
I agree.
Yeah, yeah.
Because as far as like developing material, I
Yeah.
think it's really important to stretch out a little bit because you're creating you're composing something, you're putting something together, a peak and a valley, and
Yeah.
Diaz and I had a conversation about that yesterday. He was like, I got to go to more places where I could work an hour. He goes, because sometimes I'm home for like a month and I don't go on the road and I don't do an hour set, and then I got to go do an hour set.
True.
And I got to piece it all together. I'm like, that makes sense.
I don't like short spots, and especially if you're touring a lot, like I have been, and you're doing that long set every night.
Yeah.
I don't particularly get a thrill out of a 15-minute spot. It feels like I understand it's a totally different thing, and it becomes like a different skill set, but it doesn't even feel that rewarding because like the benefit is like it doesn't feel like it lines up with what I'm doing. In other
Yeah, you're
words-
just getting cooking.
Yeah, yeah.
You're just getting started and the light goes on. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you're saying. But to me, I treat them as blocks. Like I have 4 15-minute blocks.
Yeah.
And so like if I'm doing a set tonight, I'll say, okay, well, I did this block last night.
Oh,
So
right.
tonight I'll do this block.
That's true.
And then one of the cool things about LA is that I can do 3 or 4 blocks a night. Like I'll do 1 set at the Improv and I'll do 2 sets at the Comedy Store. I did 3 sets at the Comedy Store and 1 set at the Improv on 2 Thursdays ago.
And you had like
Which is
totally
crazy.
different sets?
Yeah. Well, no, one different, 2 the same, and 1 was the Jeremiah Watkins Fuck
Yeah.
Around show.
Yeah. I'm doing that next month.
That's a great show.
Can't wait. I've never done it.
Oh, it's the best. People
they
yell
yell
out a
out-
subject, and then you start riffing on the subject. It's the best.
So they just yell out like,
yeah.
hats.
Yeah, yep. And you start talking about it, and you come up with material and punchlines. You come up with taglines. You come up with you might have a section of something that you ran about that doesn't fit anything. And then one day you have a new bit, and then you go, oh, and then there's that thing that I did on stage
Right.
that night, and then it slides right into there.
I'm a big believer in that it's not that hard relatively speaking, to say something like a joke, come up with something funny, it's much more of a challenge to come up with an interesting topic or a premise.
Yes.
So that's what that show sounds exciting.
Yeah, I feel like
saying like, talk about this topic. You're like, okay.
Yeah, premises are giant. Premises are giant, and a point of view is giant. And then from there, I feel like it's like that's the scaffolding that you'll add jokes to, and you'll figure out a way to make it funny, and figure out a way to just do it the right way. And for me, one of the things that I started doing really recently that really made a big difference is I'll have a bit, even if the bit's killing, and I know like this bit's going well, is developing well, I will, outside of stand-up, I'll sit in front of my computer and just write on that subject. Write on it in a completely different way. Like, say if I approach it from one, like say like you're talking about going on a boat, you approach it from this way, then I'll just approach it from a completely different way and just say, okay, well, this is already in the can, this one's done, all right, I've got it, so let me just try a new attack on it. And I've come up with so many different punchlines coming at it from a different angle, but forcing myself to sit in front of the computer.
Yeah.
And I use that program, Right Room. Have you ever showed you that program?
Where it like blacks everything out.
Blacks everything out and gives you green font. So it's like the Matrix font.
Yeah.
And I just sit there, and I can't access email. I don't get notifications, nothing.
So when you write from the different angle, will you then in your bit do the chunk that works and then be like, or what if somebody's, and then like all of a sudden present the other angle? Or
sometimes it fits in. Sometimes I just find a way where it fits in. Yeah. But it's just creating more taglines, more punchlines.
So you have a new hour though, right?
Yeah.
Oh my
So how long did that
goodness,
take you? That didn't take you that long.
6 months.
Damn.
6 months.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Every day I'm hustling.
Yeah, you are though. But I've seen you actually. It's a good lesson, I think, for a lot of comics. Like you, it came out, and then you haven't chilled at all on that. You just like were I see on posts all the time that you just like spot like working all the time.
Yeah, I do 5 or 6 nights a week lately. At least 4. Always at least 4.
Really?
Yeah, like I worked last night, I take off tonight. I'll work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Saturday night I got a hot date with the wife.
Nice.
And then I'll probably work Sunday too. And then I'll go at it again next week.
And you're doing, by the way, congrats on this tour, because I saw it's big time shit, man.
Crazy.
It's crazy. You're doing the theater at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Damn, homie.
It's almost sold out.
That's
crazy.
amazing.
Isn't that like 7,000 seats or something?
That's something crazy.
Something
like that.
crazy.
Jesus,
Dallas
dude.
was nuts, man. Dallas was. I just did Dallas. It was the biggest place ever sold out. That was 6,000 seats.
Wow.
It was maniacal. It's
That's
like
crazy.
The energy that you get.
How do you like it? Because it's a total different thing from 1,500 or 2,000 seater.
It's different. It's a different thing. But the energy when you get 6,000 people laughing is crazy.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's just like it's a roar. It's a different feeling.
Yeah.
But man, I really like creating stuff.
Yeah.
I really like putting together stand up, and I really love the process of writing things down and like going over my notes. I love the process of creating new material. I love the process of sitting in front of that laptop and staring at the screen. I love the whole process. I love the process of going on a run and like recording a new idea that I have in my head, and then looking at the notes that I have on my phone, and then breaking those down on paper, and then sitting in front of the laptop, and then taking these ideas, smoking a joint, going on stage with it and riffing with it, and then recording it and listening to the recording on the way home. It's like the whole process to me is it's my favorite thing to do. It really is.
Me too.
I think it is like the biggest thrill. I was talking to somebody about it, that like I think the biggest thrill still of all things is coming up with something new and having it be validated and rewarded. You're like, that's a bigger thrill than anything.
Yeah.
It really is. Like I thought of this thing, I said it, and this group of people reacted.
And then abandoning it.
Yeah, you have to.
After you do record a special, like somebody yelled out, like, do the Kim Kardashian bit, the Bruce Jenner bit, rather.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I don't even know how to do it anymore. I literally don't know how to do it.
People don't understand that. Only comics understand that. Yeah. That you go, I've been doing this other thing for so long now that I don't even remember the beats of that.
Yeah.
Somebody tried to get, I started to do one, and I was like 30% through it, and I go, I don't know what happens next. And the audience yelled out the next line. I was like, well, there you go. You guys know.
Well, yeah, because even as I'm ramping up to tape it in a month, like I have to sit down and really go through my notes and really remember every little
beat,
bump to it and bell and whistle, because you forget the cadence.
And you can get away without doing that, but make no mistake about it, the more attention you spend thinking about that material, the better it'll get.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
And I have to get full focus. Like I can't fuck around with anything. Like it's laser until that date, and then
You know what I know that's really kind of weird? I know guys that write on shows, and they'll write sitcom scripts, and they'll write movie scripts, and then they have like a chalkboard, they write, or a whiteboard, and they'll write on the whiteboard, and they'll have notes, they'll put like scenes, different scenes, but they don't ever do that about their own act.
Right.
And then their own act they treat like, you know, like a redheaded stepchild. They
Yeah.
never really have that kind of professional focus, because you don't have to, because no one's telling you to.
Right.
But when it comes to like writing a show or writing a movie,
Detail.
you have to.
Yeah.
You have to write that, because everyone's going over bit by bit. You have writers' meetings. You go to the writers' room. You sit down with people. There's no writers' room or writers' meetings for stand-up. But why isn't there? Like, why don't we? Because we're fucking lazy.
Well, it's discipline. It's self-discipline.
Yes. Yeah.
And also it's hard to look at yourself and look and step back and separate you from your work and go, that kind of sucked. Like that can be better. I should do this there. You know what I love the most is knowing that I'm about to say some crazy shit. Like when you're like, you take the risk, and in your heart you're like, oh, I'm so scared. This could be really, I shouldn't say this.
That's
And
the
then
addiction.
you say it and you're
Yeah.
like,
you get addicted to that feeling.
Yeah, I like
the
that
feeling
part.
of like, I'm going to take a leap right here.
Yeah, this is scary.
And then, hopefully they'll come with me.
Because it's not just talking about airplanes and cats and dogs. You're like, I'm
No.
going to say some crazy shit.
Yeah. And
That's
then
the best part.
there is that the risk. The risk is what is that feeling of like,
Yeah.
is this parachute going to
I
open?
did it, yeah.
And then you don't think about it at the time, but the knowing that a bunch of people are getting babysitters, they're spending their money, they're coming out to see you, and this massive responsibility to incite a reaction in them with just your words and thoughts, and the amount of responsibility that's on you for that. It's pretty intense. I've paid more attention to it over the last year or so than I have like ever in my life.
Yeah.
I've ramped it up more. Yeah. I just think it's constantly, and then my standards always get higher too. It's like I can't have a new special that's not as good as the last one. So I feel like, man, I got to make sure this one's better. So I have to like watch my old one and go, well, where's there too much fluff, or where's there too much?
Oh, you did that, really?
Yeah. Like maybe I could have cut this down. Maybe I should have. Maybe this isn't as good as this part. You know, all that, just all sharpening the samurai sword, hammering that fucking metal down.
Yeah.
I know my problem is I'm a perfectionist, so like, and it's never good enough. It's never going to be.
That's everybody's problem.
I hate it.
Everybody if anybody who's any good hates everything they do.
Yeah.
It's true.
Gosh.
Everybody I know that loves their act is terrible.
That's
Everybody that tells me, "Oh, my new stuff's amazing. I love it." Like, ugh, get away from me.
Yeah, it's gross. I remember we did a show one time where that guy was
know,
like, he
I
goes
know.
like, "Don't you love going back and watching?" We were
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some
And
guy's
he
like,
was
don't you
like-
love watching yourself? I'm like,
he was
no.
terrible.
He was terrible.
There you
Yeah,
go.
it was terrible.
It's always the case.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's always the case, and they're always like big self promoters too. Right?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Letterman hated himself. I read some book about him years ago, and every episode he would go home and just put on the hair shirt and flog himself. Like that was the worst episode ever. And in my estimation, he's the best. I love
Yeah.
Letterman so much, but he hated
That's
himself.
why he's the best, though.
Yeah.
Is because he had these high standards. He wasn't just half-assing it.
Yeah. It's true. I remember a guy one time asked me to get him a guest spot I went to a city, and he was like, I knew him, I met him before, so I talked to the manager of the club, and I was like, can I get this guy a guest spot? And she was like, are you vouching for him? And I was like,
no.
yeah. So he goes, okay. So he goes up there, just eats such a big bag of shit. So then the club manager was like, what the fuck was that? And I go, well, I don't know. So there's a second show, and I go, dude, that was like, he was like, I know. He goes, I'll do a totally different set on the second show, totally different set, and I'll make up for it. And I go, okay. So I go, let's just let him. He'll do a totally different set. That was just a
Oh no.
And then not only does he do the same set, he does verbatim, like from the same opening. And so she's looking at me like, what's going on? And I'm like, and I see him. I go, you did the same exact thing. And he was like, yeah.
What was his reasoning? Like, did he black out from
I
nerves
think so.
or something?
I think he got nervous. And the other thing that stood out is that he had, this is quite a few years ago, like amazing website and like all this
Always.
other stuff had incredible attention, you know, like
those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
they got the
"Oh my
card.
God."
Like,
Yeah.
remember when you started doing stand up and the cards?
I bought
and
you
the
cards. I remember
fucking-
that.
It's so
I was-
embarrassing.
like
yeah.
cards that say your name and like comedian on it. I bought business
Did you?
cards. Yeah. Like,
Every time I meet a guy in a town and he wants to do a guest set, I'm almost positive they suck.
Yeah.
They're always like real and true. Hey man, I really love to do a guest set on your show. Like what guest set? There's 6,000 people
Yeah,
out there. You think you're gonna do a guest bet?
The
You're out of your
audacity,
fucking
too.
mind?
I know. Yeah.
I've had a
especially on
bunch of
big
guys
shows.
do that though.
Yeah.
Bunch of guys do that. I've also had guys that are like marginal headliners and working comics just show up at my show and ask to do a guest set at like the Chicago Theater.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
and I'm not kidding. Yeah, 3,700 people.
Yeah.
Hey, I'd like to do a guest set. Hey, I'd like you to go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Are you
What do
crazy?
you tell them? What do you
I say
tell-
no. I go, dude, this is all set up.
Yeah.
Like this guy's gonna do 20. Ian's gonna do 20. Tony Hinchcliffe's gonna do 20, and then I'm doing an hour and 10. Like this is what it is.
This is it,
This is
yeah.
the show.
Yeah.
Like there's no room for your guest set.
Yeah.
I'll just do like 7 minutes. No, you're not doing anything. Like I don't even know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of. What if you go up on stage and you start doing my subjects?
Yeah.
Like get the fuck out of here.
I just got an email
It's a
about
theater, too.
about one for a theater show where
Ay,
they were
ay,
like,
ay.
But here's the thing: would you ever do that?
never,
No.
never.
That's the
Never.
thing. Like, imagine showing up at there's
Negative.
if you were a musician, there's a band playing. Like, hey man, I just like to go home and do a song with you
Yeah.
guys. Like, what?
What the fuck
You
out
out
of
of your
here? I know.
fucking mind?
Well, the crazy thing about this email too, because I've had this a few times, is it's an email saying, "Hey, you're coming to this city. I'd love to do a set. Not only do you not know who I am, I will provide no link to anything so that you could check out. Like in other words, it's just sight unseen. You don't know anything about me. Can I be on your show?" And you're
Or the
No.
and can I do like 20 minutes?
yeah,
Oh, that's
the
the
best part.
best.
Like,
That's the
motherfucker, I
best.
don't even know you.
yeah, no.
I thought maybe like 5.
I had a guy show up in Atlanta and he wanted to do a half hour.
Hell no.
That's
He
what he
said that?
Yeah, he said you want to do a half hour.
Crazy.
He goes, I want to do a guest set. He goes, I'm only talking like 30 minutes, not like an hour.
I remember
man.
one
What are you
time.
talking
You know
about?
Dan
At least
Godfrey?
they got to hustle though, you know.
I love Dan Godfrey. He used to run the Brea
Yeah.
Improv, and now he like oversees, I think, all the improvs.
Yeah.
And one time I was in Brea, and I think, man, I want to say I was middling. This is like probably like 06 or something, and I was middling, and the MC was like, turned to him, was like, I'll do 20. And then Dan goes, "You'll do 10. And you won't do a minute more." Like just straight up, because the guy was like announcing how much time he was going to do from the MC spot.
Get out.
on the
20?
Yeah, he was like, "I'll do 20, and then how much do you do?" And he's like, "You'll do 10, and not a second more." like telling him like, don't even fucking
Yeah.
dream about doing that.
Yeah, and people get mad
Jesus.
listening to this. Inevitably,
Yeah.
I'll get an angry tweet or an angry Facebook message, and people will get mad thinking that like you just don't appreciate people that are trying to make it.
No.
And when you were
Oh
trying to
my
make
God.
it, listen, I'm telling you, all the people that are out there listening that have that mindset, no one does that. No one who's any good does that. This is not what you do. You don't ever ask for guest spots. If you get to know someone and you start working with someone and you work with them on a regular basis
Yeah.
and you want to work with them somewhere, that's one thing. Like say if you were going to be in town doing a wedding or something like that,
Yeah.
like you were a friend was getting married or
Yeah.
something like that, you're like, dude, you're working that night? And I'd be like, yeah, you want to do a set? You'd be like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we would work around it.
Sure.
We'd figure it out. But it's only because we've worked together so many times.
Sure.
We know each other so well. Like to have someone who you don't even know want to interject, like your show is like a complete package. Like you've put it together, right?
Yeah.
Like you know who your opening acts are. You know what kind of material they do.
Totally.
And you're thinking about how this whole thing is going to play out together, and you want to make sure that audience who gets that babysitter and goes on, you want to make sure that they get the best set possible.
And I'm old school, I guess, in the sense that I am 100% of the idea that everything at any show is absolutely all about the headliner's desires and wants.
Yeah.
Or it's their show. Like whenever I opened for you and like somebody would say like, "Hey, I'd be like, "I don't know. Ask him, man. It's his fucking show." Like we're all here. It's called support for a reason. Like we're supporting the headlining act. And I fucking hate when they try to involve anybody else in decision making or how do you want to. I go. It's all about whoever's name is on the whatever they dictate is the way that show goes, and you should respect that. You should respect what it took for them to get to that point, and you should respect their desires at the show. If you want to talk about lighting or music or how much time, it's all that person's decision. So everybody else can go fuck themselves.
Yeah, you know what I also find to be a problem that I don't do. I don't take guys in the row that do crowd work.
Oh boy,
yeah.
get your
Because
life.
It just opens up that
it all up.
Pandora's box. It
Yeah.
becomes a real problem where when someone loves to do crowd work and they, sir, what do you do for a living, sir?
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking at you with that suit on. I'm imagining salesman. And,
No.
You know, the problem
Opening
with that is
yeah, you can't do
people
that.
start boozing and they want to, I'm going to get my chance. He's going to talk to me.
Yeah.
And then they start gearing up and then the time never comes. And then you're on stage and they want to start yelling shit
Yeah.
out. You're like, oh,
Yes.
It changes the expectations of the show.
Yes.
And somebody who's the show is not about them has made that decision.
Yeah.
That's what's fucked up about it. I've had that where like, holy shit, one guy did a 20-minute crowd work set in front of me.
Really?
He got and did I mean, this is a few years ago, but got it worked into a frenzy. And then you get up there and some guy's like, and you're like, shut the fuck up. I'm not talking to you, man.
That's
And then
a
it's
problem.
Just,
it's a
just like-
problem.
Yeah.
It becomes a problem because then the audience is mad at you. How come
Yeah.
you just get to talk?
Yeah.
I want to talk. I was waiting
It's about
to talk.
me.
Yeah.
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 I just love it. They used to really mismatch my openers. Like this is back in the day. I was opening Fort Lauderdale, and they gave me this guy who was like, "Ladies, you gotta suck a dick." That's why they call it a blow job, not a career or some shit. And it was like all like, "Ladies, you gotta suck dicks." And I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here!" Like, do you
Yeah.
even know who I am?
No.
You don't give a shit.
They're not putting. See,
They
that's
don't care.
They're not considering it as a show.
No. I mean, now
No,
that
It's
guy would
like,
never
you
even
get a spot. You get a spot.
be near me. But
Right.
I
He's
was
just
like,
a guy that the club found funny and they go,
Yeah.
I've got an open week for a middle.
Yeah.
yeah,
Have-
put in front of the
yeah.
female comic. It
Plus
was,
at Fort Lauderdale.
ay,
Like,
ay, ay.
is there,
closed it
other
down.
than Jim Brewer, is there a funny comic that's ever come out of Florida?
Is he out of Florida?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Is it
Actually-
Kreischer?
Yeah, Kreischer. He's, yeah. And then there's
Tosh.
Tosh from Florida,
He's
too.
from Florida, too.
Damn it. There goes my theory.
Sorry.
Todd
And then
Berry.
there's- Todd Berry's from Florida,
Yeah.
too?
Oh,
Really?
no.
Wow.
But I know what you're saying in terms of like the fame. There's not a lot of
Development there.
Yes.
They develop somewhere else. There's one other guy, too, that's really funny that came out of Florida. Brian Regan. Didn't Brian Regan come out of Florida?
You might be right. Yes, he's from Miami.
Yes,
that's
there
right.
you go. There
Yep.
you go.
Yep.
Yeah. So my theory sucks.
Yeah, but no, you're right.
But there's no bastion of comedic glory. Like Fort Lauderdale's not where we all go to get really good.
Well, there's no community.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, apparently there was developing one in Miami because last time I was in Miami was a couple of years ago, and I did the, they have that South Beach Comedy Festival.
That's right.
Yeah.
I went with you on
That's
that.
right. Yeah.
That's right.
And we were, after the show, we were talking to some people at one of the local bars. They're like, yeah, we're local comics. We have like a comedy show here and
Yeah.
a bar here. And like we put together like a real community. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Like that didn't exist for a while. Miami was the worst improv in the history of
People don't
the fucking
understand.
No,
world.
they had to cancel my week. I got a call like a month before, and they're like, "Look, we can't sell tickets for a white girl. We're gonna have to pull your week." And I was like, "No problem."
A month before they knew, they're like, the
Guess it.
writing's on the wall.
No, one ticket for this white girl.
I
Well, yeah,
had-
they didn't even speak English
I
in
had
that
some
room.
crazy,
It's crazy.
shows. In
Joey
that room.
Diaz used to do half Spanish shows there.
Wow.
Like he would yell out half the punchlines would be in Spanish, and people would fall out of their fucking chairs crying, laughing.
Yeah.
We did shows there, and they were just it was Thunderdome. It was chaos.
It was. I did a set there where I would weave in and out of Spanish too, and like
Oh, that's
say-
right. You speak full Spanish.
And I would, and it would be
crushing.
It pandemonium, like just it would be nuts. And I did one time middling, and the headliner did 35 minutes afterwards.
Oh my God,
Wow.
he was
Dick.
He's like, I'm out of here.
You almost have to be bilingual. to
Yeah,
get-
yeah, man. And they're
it's
like
a hard sell.
And that, like, if you were to ask that staff, like, are you going to police the room? They'd be like, what
No.
the
What the
fuck's
fuck
Like,
is that?
No, dude.
And everyone was 18.
Yeah.
The audience was all underage,
Oh.
and they gave away tickets. It was a whole papered room.
They told me a story about how that was in Coconut Grove,
Mm-hmm.
and there's some bad parts near that in that area. Like they would also tell you like don't walk down the street from the club, and you're like okay,
Oh, great.
And so this one, there's like this Haitian gang. I forget the name of it, but anyways, dominant in that area. So one time, some guy, I don't know, he's being loud or something. So they go to one of the guys is like, hey, could you keep it down? And then when he comes back a second time, the guy opens his jacket and shows him he's got a gun, right, in his waistband. So the guy's like, fucking, I'm not getting killed over the goddamn improv, you know? So he goes, tells the manager. The manager knows that the head honcho of that gang is a big fan of show. It goes to shows there. So, and he's in the room. So they go tell the gang leader that, like, hey, this other guy just flashed a gun to one of my staff. And that guy just turns in the middle of the show to the guy who showed the gun and was like, hey, no. And so he got up, went out to his car, put his gun in his car, came back, was like, sorry about that. And they were like, all right.
Oh my
Sorry about
But like, there's no involving anyone else and no throwing him out. They were just
Wow.
like, be a decent guy, put your gun in your car.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That room was chaos.
It was.
One
I've done
time,
it. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I did it. I've done the room before. Yes, go ahead.
It was one of the first
But
clubs that I said I would never go back to.
Yeah.
I told them on stage, I go, you are the dumbest fucking people I've ever performed for. And they were howling, laughing. I go, you don't understand. I'm so serious. And they were like, this fool crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Diaz having some choice words about it too.
Even Diaz.
Yeah, he was
Even
like-
Diaz is like, that's too fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It's too fucking crazy down there.
Well, Fort Lauderdale was a close second. I'd say Miami was number one in
No,
terms
Fort
of
Lauderdale, the Hollywood Improv?
Yeah.
I always had a good time there.
the Seminole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was, for me, I mean, that's when I was like coming up, whatever. Yeah, that was harder.
It
You'd
was
see like the
chaotic.
Bluetooth, everyone with the Bluetooth
Oh,
in.
those Bluetooth
Talk-
earpieces. Remember those
Say
goddamn
what?
things?
You're like, who you talking to? I'm on the phone. Yeah. Sorry.
And they'd all
Remember
talk
those things?
Yeah, of
during
course.
your set. They'd
Those
go
things
full-
stopped. They ended.
Yeah, thank God.
Isn't that weird?
Do you know of Ryan Sickler's story about that?
No.
So he had he needed a tape for something. And so Ryan Sickler is one of my good friends, very funny comic. Set up, and you know what it's like when you're taping a set for something. You want everything to come together.
Right.
So he sets up a camera in the back of the Hollywood Improv and records his own set. And he's up there having a great set, killing, leaves stage like, I got my set to submit to whatever thing he's sending it in for, a comedy set or something. So he's just happy. He gets back to review it, and a guy sitting next to the camera, the tripod with the camera, as Ryan gets on stage, is like, hello? Huh? Comedy club. Comedy. I'm at a comedy club. And throughout Ryan's set, you just hear the guy on his phone call keep saying over and over, comedy club. I'm at a comedy club. So that's what Ryan has a tape of. It's just a guy yelling, I'm at a comedy club.
Oh, no.
You know.
That was a crazy run.
Bluetooth, man. That
Bluetooth, Cleveland
that went
Improv.
away,
too.
though.
it did
went
kind of
away.
dip
That's
down.
interesting. I don't see them anymore.
It was
those
almost
little
a point
earpieces.
of it was like a floss. It was like showing, like you were
Yes.
telling people that you had one.
Yes.
It wasn't about I need to get calls all the time. It was like you see the blinking light, like I'm a businessman.
I'm balling.
You know, I remember
control.
the Cleveland Improv. It was just like a sea of Bluetooth earpieces. I'd be like, oh man, I got to get the
That
fuck out
one,
of this
by
town.
the way, that one was rough.
Terrible.
Cleveland seems to have made a comeback, though.
Cleveland's doing, and I, you know,
The Improv?
I've had great shows in that city that I but that club, Cleveland Improv, I definitely had some fucking really bad, crazy shows. I mean, there was a guy arrested during the show who he sent back because it says 1 pound of chicken wings, and he goes, that wasn't a pound. And they were like, that's what it is, man. And he was like, take me to the kitchen and weigh them because I know that's not a pound.
Oh, my God.
And they have by the way, this is one of the clubs that there's a permanent police officer stationed in the lobby. And so they were like, no. And he's like, well, I'm not paying for it. So they just get the cop and they go, hey, here's the deal. And the cop goes, look, thinking like look, man, you're either paying for them or I'm taking you to jail. And the guy just goes, there you go. Go ahead. So they arrest him.
Wow.
Over an order of chicken wings. He didn't want to pay for it.
Wow.
Because it's not a pound. That was
Dude.
the Cleveland Improv.
You've had merch stolen off your table.
I had merch stolen at the Cleveland Improv.
Who stole your merch?
These people, they were like, we want a picture. And they totally distracted me. And then when I looked down, I was doing my own thing then. I have 20 of these. There's 5 gone. They just set me up for a picture. And then I turned back and they were gone.
Wow.
CDs.
Did you know who the people were? Did you see them leave? Did you go after them?
I mean, it's I turned and I was like, hey. And I'm telling the security guy, They just stole it. He was like, "Yeah, it sucks, man." You know, like it wasn't like we're gonna pursue this. You know,
No.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is,
baby.
man. People steal shit.
You're in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Trying to sell CDs.
Yeah, man. That
Dude,
was,
that was such a rough. The first night I ever did the Cleveland Improv, a John and a pimp. John, you know what I'm saying? The pimp. God
And the
damn it!
hooker?
The hooker and the John were getting in a fight right at the front row, and they got thrown out. Like,
Wait a minute.
This
The
is,
dude took a hooker to a show?
Yes. I found out later.
Take
I
care
didn't
of
know
her.
at the time, and I was just starting my set. Here I am, my first time in Cleveland, just trying to survive. And I look, and they're getting ushered out. I'm like, what happened? Well, it was a hooker and the John. They were in a fight, and and they got arrested. And they have to, I've had people vomit in my showroom on
man.
Cinco de Mayo in
On-
Kentucky.
at the Cleveland Improv once, like I was grinding through a rough set, and this guy in the third row goes, he goes, "This guy's terrible, man." Like that, like fully loud, like this guy's terrible. And I was like, "What's up, man?" And then some lady in the back goes, "Your mama should have swallowed that nut." Like,
God
meaning
damn.
like,
This is in Cleveland?
yeah, at the Cleveland Improv.
Wow.
And I was like, damn.
Yeah.
I go, your dad should have stuck around to raise you. And then, and then like I got out of there pretty quick. It was.
What did she say when you said that?
It was just there was so much oohing and awing and swearing, and then she was removed. So like she was allowed to say her thing, I said my thing, and then there was like fuck, like fuck you, and then they actually throw them out.
What happened after that? The show calmed down or no?
Yeah, they let me. It was like as I'm winding into the closing bit of the set, so I was like, it was right before I shut it down. Anyway, like I was about to close, and then. Yeah, I mean, I remember I walked pretty fast off stage though as I got out of there. But there were some rough sets in that room, man.
Yeah.
Cleveland's rough.
Yeah.
There's some, but
Hilarities is pretty fucking different.
That's different.
Yeah. It's pretty nice.
Different.
Yeah, it's. I mean, like it's a beautiful room, and like I mean, the Improv has great clubs. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But that's like a rough room.
That was
man.
a different one.
Yeah, I was there recently with Fitzsimmons.
At Hilarities?
Yeah, I was there on. I flew in on Thursday night. I had a show there on Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and Fitzsimmons was there on Thursday. So I did a set on his show on Thursday, and
He's
it was
so funny.
great.
He's
oh,
so
Fitzsimmons is great. He's
Yeah.
hilarious. We started out like a week apart from each other.
What?
Did you really?
Yeah, literally a week apart.
I just did his podcast a couple weeks ago.
He's
He's
the
a
best.
natural. Like when you talk about the skill set of conversations,
Yeah.
he's really good at it.
Well, his dad was a big time radio host.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
big
Yeah.
time in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Greg and I did so many fucking gigs together. We used to steal each other's material.
What?
Really?
Yeah, we had a deal because neither one of us were we really shouldn't have been working. We were only
This is like
doing
20 years ago.
more.
More.
Yeah, like 89, 88.
Wait, how long have you been doing it?
Since 88. August 27th, 1988.
Wow.
And
So we're coming up on your anniversary.
yeah. In 2018 it'll be my 30th anniversary.
Wow.
Wow.
Crazy.
I'm exactly half that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anyway, so Greg and I would do gigs like when we were a year in, and we'd get paid, to go on the road. And so we had like a deal, like you could do my material, I'll do your material.
That's a good idea.
actually
Because we were
very
really
cool.
good friends.
Yeah.
So he's like, dude, your fucking material was killing in Connecticut.
And he was like serious. Like, he did-
Yeah. I would tell him, oh, that bit that you do, I did that in fucking Rhode Island.
Yeah, but it was like it was parachutes for you guys.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
fake,
We really shouldn't have been working. I mean,
Yeah.
we were doing comedy a fucking year. And if something went bad, it went bad.
Yeah.
I never recovered. Never. I mean, I can, you can have a shit joke and just bounce back from it.
Totally.
Now. If you stumble through something, you can bounce back from it. Back then, there was no recovery.
I remember opening on a bad joke and just riding that bad wave for
Tough.
long sets.
Yeah.
Because you opened bad.
Yeah,
I didn't
you
have a way
fucked
to
up.
put it back together.
Yeah, you come out stumbling and you
Yeah.
just never get your balance back.
Yeah. Now if you open bad, you're like, all right, you
Is there
have
one place where you won't work, where you won't get booked? It's just like, I'm not going there.
Yes.
Like
where is it?
Cleveland Improv.
You don't
Still
wanna
to
do it?
this day?
Negative. Like, unless
They
they had
cultivate a
some-
bad audience, right? That does
Yes.
happen.
Yeah. It's you know what the problem is? It's the same thing that happened what Miami did with their club is that they used to like announce that you can get free tickets here.
Yes.
So
Oh,
like I remember one time going there working and I was like, check out this line. This is awesome. It's gonna be great. And the guy goes, they're here for the free tickets. So like when you're when you cultivate that this is free, it just
well,
that's
it
why it's
diminishes
so
the
good.
value.
It does, but
Yeah.
when you just go like, look, these are $5 tickets. You're making an investment in your night in the show.
Yeah.
And that changes it. And I think Cleveland did a lot of that too. A lot of like, this is free.
It's the worst thing you could ever do to a show. Paper it, because then the people just start talking.
They don't give a
They
fuck.
don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything. They'll get up and leave in the middle of the show.
Yeah.
Nothing invested in it. For me, it's Connecticut. I don't go to Connecticut.
Yeah, you told me that.
Hartford?
You told me.
Connecticut can suck my dick.
The whole city or just
the whole
a club?
state.
The whole state.
Oh, sorry, state.
No disrespect to anybody in Connecticut. If you're
No
listening.
disrespect.
No disrespect.
I did it like
But
3
you know.
times this year.
Yeah. Woof.
Yeah.
All those people, you know where you live.
I did UConn. I had a great time at UConn. I did the college.
Yeah, a bunch of people from somewhere else.
Yeah.
That are stuck in
Yeah,
Connecticut.
that's true, that's true.
If I could guarantee that they'd bust people in from New York and Boston, I'd do a show there.
So you would never do the Foxwoods?
Oh boy, yeah, Foxworth.
Where are you most excited about to go on this tour?
I like Texas. Well, I mean, I like going places where it's fun.
Yeah.
There's something about Connecticut that's just bleak.
Yeah.
There's like a lack of opportunity. There's just something bleak about it. It's almost like an illegitimate state. It's like a highway between Boston and New York. That's really what it is, and it always feels like that when you're there. It just feels weird. Like there's like almost like there's a sadness that permeates the show, even when they laugh, like,
Yeah. I love that you hate a place that much.
Yeah.
It really
I've
is
had so many
exciting.
bad sets there.
You know, I
Yeah.
feel like I hate a lot of places. When the cameras are off, we can talk about them though.
Oh. Well, Diaz and Ari and I did a show at Foxwoods a few years back, and I told them before, and I go, it was like a Monday and a Tuesday night, because they had a comedy club at Foxwoods.
Oh yeah,
And,
wait, comedy club and restaurant. I had to put that on my website.
I had a bad-
Foxwoods Comedy Club and restaurant.
They make you say and
Yeah,
restaurant?
and restaurant, yeah.
They make you?
Make you.
They
On,
sure
on
did.
your promos, they're like, could you fucking say the full name?
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
I had a
Yeah.
bad one there. I had a bad set there.
So did I.
Yeah,
Does anyone have
that
a
was-
great?
That was the last time. And I was like, never again. I told you guys before this is probably going to suck. And Ari was like, I knew it was going to suck, but I didn't know it was going to suck.
Yeah.
I go, yeah, it sucked.
Yeah.
It's just the people they wouldn't stop heckling. They were yelling out during Ari's set, yelling out during, even Diaz is like, will you just shut the fuck up? Like yelling at them.
I had someone thrown out of there, and afterwards, like some of the staff was like, "So what was going on?" I'm like, "Dude," and they're like, and the other thing is, here's a bad thing about people don't realize about casinos is that there's an like this total idea that it benefits any aspect of the casino to keep the customer happy, regardless of every other circumstance. In other words, somebody is upset at the restaurant. Well, let's try to make it right because they're here at the casino. We want them to stay happy. Keep getting. They go to a comedy show. Well, whatever they're doing is fine. It's like no. Whatever they're doing is not fine because this is about the show. But the venue's point of view is this is a gambler. This is somebody who's here to spend money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we should always acquiesce to their desires and needs and don't do anything to upset them. You're like, that's not how that works, man. Like this is our show.
My favorite with the casino gig is always how they, you've got the ding, 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 the machine sounds, and they're like, but there's a curtain that separates the comedy club from the ding, 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 and you can still hear it like.
Well,
trickle
they
in
actually
there.
have a show in Vegas at the South Point, that Dirty at
Yeah.
12:30.
Yeah.
That like you can look out and you see the casino while you're on stage.
Yeah. I don't
Like
wanna
the
do
back
that.
of the room, there's the bar,
I don't
and
wanna
then the
do that.
fucking casino is right there. It's weird.
Can I ask you, would you ever date your mom?
Oh, definitely not. First of all, she's older than me.
Yeah.
Second of all, she's my mom.
Well,
Why?
I'm your mom and you're my son, and I am falling in love with him. He said, are you really? I said, yes, I am. He said, you know what? I was scared to let you know, too. I am, too.
We're both consenting adults. If it comes down to it, it's just like the gays. They're as long as they're over 18, everything's fine.
you know what I mean?
The U.S. wants to jail them for 18 months. Well, that'll fix it.
They got arrested. They actually got arrested.
Oh, well, they should definitely arrest him. Who gives a fuck if you want to fuck your mom?
That's our point.
That's true.
Who cares?
I don't care. I don't
either.
care at
I don't
all.
care. But I think it's that he wants to marry his mom. There comes the
Okay.
legality.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
She's got a tattoo on her face.
Yeah.
I say go for it.
There's
It's hilarious.
that.
Go back to her. Go back to her face.
I definitely like relaying that it is just like the gays.
It's the same
that
argument.
it's the same. That there's nothing quite like marrying your mom.
It's very strange though to see them making out. Oh.
Ugh, it's horrendous.
I asked him, will you ever date your mom? And he said, will you date your son? I said, honest truth, yes, I would.
yes, I would.
Because 19 years, you're the best thing that ever happened to me, and I really want to be with you the rest of my life.
Wow,
She's
that's
like
so
a
good.
dumpy bag of potatoes. Tattoo on her face.
It's just like the gays.
You're the best thing ever. I asked him.
I asked him.
There's no K in that.
Yeah. Asked him.
I asked him,
That's a
marry
tell.
your mom.
There's no doctors that say, I asked him, where does it hurt? Like, asked him.
When
I
the
almost
grammar
feel like
is
that's
bad.
fake. It's so
No.
crazy.
It feels like it, but I think it is real because I read follow-up articles about getting arrested and everything. Yeah.
So what do? They tell them you got to stop fucking. They go, all right, we're
I
going
don't
to
know how
stop.
they do it.
I think it's the marriage part, not the
thing
fucking.
That yeah, that's true. But I also feel like if you're fucking or like you want to get married to your mom, like you just stay inside and
Yeah,
don't tell
shut the
anyone
fuck up
it.
about
Yeah.
it.
It's that they're doing this.
See, that's the problem with today's society is that everybody has to be out and proud about every stupid fucking thing they're doing.
Yeah.
What happened to a little sense of shame? Keep it inside. You know it's fucking weird.
Yeah.
You know it's weird.
Yeah, it's
So
just like
shut
with the
up.
gays, right?
Yeah, it's just
right?
Exactly like those gays,
Like
Joe.
with the gays.
It's just like the gays.
It's just like the gays.
so
What a
not like
crazy
the gays.
quote. No.
long as they're
The
in-
gay people, see, it's definitely, unless you're fucking your dad.
It's different.
Yeah.
Well, that's
not
different.
Well, speaking of that,
Do your incest fantasies haunt you? Do you feel guilt or shame around them? Maybe you've never allowed yourself to have them because you think you would be a horrible person if you ever went there. So it's all suppressed.
she went on to say that she started to masturbate and then thought of everyone in her family and realized the only one that turned her on was her dad. She thought about her mom and her son and all these people, and she's like, they didn't do anything for me, but dad did. And it also made me think,
It's just like the gays.
you know. Real quick, were you with me when we were when I did? I don't know if you were with me that time when I did. What's it called? Jim. When it was Opie and Jim, and we watched that. Were you with me when we watched the footage of the guy at the carport, the guy in the garage, the Asian guy?
Oh, Jesus.
Which one was it? What was the?
Let me see.
So
Did
depressing.
This footage? It's a car backing into a garage, like a mechanic shop,
I'm
basically.
going to watch his face while this plays.
Does this look familiar or no?
Not yet. I've seen too much.
Yeah, that's true. Because people ask like different views on this.
I'm not seeing a lot of laughter on Joe's face. Your face, I see a lot of laughter.
That dude's broken.
Yeah.
They broke that dude.
Check out how concerned his friends are. It's like, something happened? Look at it. Look at how fucking cold that guy
I
is.
still don't hear Joe's laughter. You know,
Well-
it's not really of
I deal with too many injuries, man. Injuries to me aren't funny.
really. Well, that's interesting. Let's keep going with this thread.
Hold on.
Why aren't injuries funny, Joe?
Because I see people get fucked up all the time.
Yeah.
It's called empathy.
That guy's got broken legs, broken hip. Like the impact with the cement wall and then the toolbox and then his legs. The legs are the soft thing. The legs are going to give.
That's kind of funny though.
There's nothing funny about that to me.
Wait a minute.
Wait, that's interesting. What did you just say, Joe?
It's not funny to me.
Yeah, me neither. Because I think we have empathy.
That guy's
for
got broken
people.
legs. That guy
I
can't even
feel
stand.
like
Yeah.
you guys worked this out before.
No, I really don't. I'm not good with injuries.
Really?
Yeah,
I always
see too many injuries.
Here's my problem.
Oh my God.
I've always laughed. I think it's because of my own fear of them. Probably on some level, I've always had I remember one time I worked construction in Florida one summer, and one of the foremen was like, I had a bathtub dropped on my neck, and I started laughing so hard. like tears running down my face.
Jesus, he had a bathtub dropped on his neck.
And he had
How
a
did live?
permanent morphine pack sewn into his inside, like into his, just dripping on his neck. And I go, oh Jesus! And I just laughed and laughed. I couldn't stop laughing.
That's so crazy.
But I mean, it's not even, it's not a calculated choice to laugh. It just happens. And that's why I think it's because I actually fear it happening.
Yeah,
you know?
that if it's not calculated, it
No.
just starts happening.
It just
You
starts
can't
happening.
Control yourself.
Yeah, I can't control myself.
I see so many injuries.
That's true. You've seen people's heads get bashed in.
You got to realize I've probably seen more people fuck people up, like
Yeah.
physically in fights, than maybe almost anybody who's ever lived.
That's
Like,
probably true.
Up close.
Yeah.
It's
Like
tough.
I've called. I mean, there's probably a few guys that are closing in on me now,
Yeah.
numbers wise, other commentators on fights, but I've commentated thousands of fights.
Yeah.
Think about that. All the different concussions I've seen, all the different knockouts.
Now, here's the funny thing is that I don't laugh when I see head trauma.
No?
No, it doesn't do it to me. Like
leg trauma
Just,
does it?
yeah,
leg
smash.
trauma. Yeah. The screaming is like, it makes me laugh.
And his
You know?
pelvis being crushed by the car
Love
is
pelvic
hilarious.
injuries. But
Although Steve-O did show me this new guy that he's working with. Steve-O's like mentoring some young psycho who's doing a lot of like jackass style stunts. And this kid put on a Speedo and rode a skateboard off of a makeshift ramp into a pile of cactuses. It was so fucking crazy. I was watching this guy, like, oh my God. Like my whole body. You know that thing when you get when you see someone about to get in an accident and like the tense adrenaline pumps through your body and like it's almost like you feel like sharp pointers all over your skin. Yeah, that's how I felt when I watched this kid launch his body into the cactus. Like, no.
We saw one
I
last
like it.
week. Remember that horrible?
Yeah, don't talk about it again.
Oof, where this dude was trying to do a jackass stunt, and he tied a rope around his nutsack and tied the other end to a tree, and then ran and jumped.
Oh no! Did he rip his balls off?
Yeah.
Did he die?
No, well, I don't know.
No.
But
But
it
his
was-
no balls anymore.
His nut popped out.
Oh man, it's
And there's a video of this?
Yeah.
Don't show it to me.
You don't want to see
God.
it.
Oh, here you
God
go. Show it
damn
to me.
it.
Oh, I can't. I can't.
Oh.
Get off! Oh, my nuts! My nut came out!
Dipshit.
My nut came out!
Well, what did you think was going to happen?
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Why would you even do that?
I can't even look at that. I can't even look at that.
I don't like. I can't.
Yeah.
See, like that doesn't make me laugh. that just freaks me out.
But do you think that, I mean, this is like a cliche thing to say, but don't you think that in some ways is evolution? Like that
Wiping that dude out?
There's dumb people that will do dumb things, and it's almost they're supposed to die or lose their ability. I mean, it's
Right.
kind of symbolic that this guy's tying this to his reproductive organs.
You're right.
and
No, you're
jumping
right.
off of-
Maybe it's an unconscious wish fulfillment. Like he doesn't want to live
Yeah.
to reproduce.
Yeah.
There's
he
something
knows.
there. I mean, what would be best case scenario there?
Ay,
It would
ay.
hurt his balls and they wouldn't rip off. I
Yeah.
mean,
right.
he jumped with that rope tied to his balls.
Dude, oh my god, man, dude.
Okay, this-
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, guys, oh my
Okay. All right.
So unnecessary.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Anything else, Gene?
Oof.
Fart, yeah.
Anything?
Fart in. No, I mean I wanted to talk about your morning farts, but that I got it.
My morning fart.
As opposed to what? Evening farts?
They're different.
Well,
with
I'm
him.
a real. I don't know if you are. I wake up with lots of noises. No, just all. I'm like I'm
Porking,
fart. Like
burping.
I'm a symphony in the
Do you
morning.
find that your digestive tract and everything is working better? Excuse me, working better since your diet?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
He used to shit a lot worse, and now it's much better.
Yeah.
He used to have like diarrhea every day.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
true.
he's
Really?
allergic to
It's true.
sugar or some reaction.
Oh,
to
I think
sugar.
everybody is.
When I
Yeah.
have like even now, I'll be pretty clean for a number of days, even weeks. I'll be like, I'm gonna eat this right now, and I'll indulge in something rich in sugar. It fucking never agrees with me.
Oh, it kills you.
Yeah.
You got used to it for a while, right?
Yeah.
And now that you're not used to it, your body doesn't know what to do with it. Like, what is this?
I actually found that in a lot of times, what I want is just like a taste of something. I'll just have a bite, and I'll be like, I used to go like, I'll have 70 bites of that, and now it's like one or two kind of satisfies it,
Yeah.
and then I don't feel sick.
Isn't that Zevia stuff fucking amazing?
Dude, I love it.
I hate it.
Do you?
Yeah, she hates it.
Tastes nasty
the
as hell.
water guy spit it out.
He wouldn't even drink it.
Yeah, Martin
Yeah.
Risa spit it out, and but my theory on it is this though: as somebody who's like restricting themselves from sweetness all the time, it's like an indulgence you can have. Right?
Yes.
So it is like I notice it's a lot. It's too sweet for a lot of people's palate, but you don't know how much sugar they're regularly having. In
Yeah.
other words, for me, I feel like it's that it's like the free cheat, right? So you have your Zevia, you taste sweetness again.
It's not. It doesn't bother me even a little. I enjoy the taste.
You know what?
totally into it.
I feel like it's too synthetic tasting.
Yeah.
That's what bothers me. It's like I like the Dr. Pepper alike taste, but
Yeah.
I like a La Croix. I'd rather do that.
Oh, those are great. I love those
I
too.
like those 'cause
those are
little
so
sweet-
light.
Yes.
But you know they have Zevia water, where it's just like the tiniest hint of flavor. It's more like a La Croix.
Okay. Maybe
Yeah,
I'll
so
check
they
that
have
one
the
out.
Zevia soda. They have Zevia energy drinks too, which are amazing. They're really good. They're
Do you
so
know
much
that-
better tasting than Red Bull.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
hate Red
totally.
Bull.
People, we get a lot of song submissions. People send in songs they make. Do you know, like somebody made "Let's Go Water Champ" that you said into a song? Like, and they do.
Please tell the audience so I can
Like,
have
pretty
record.
good that you're impressed with my water consumption.
Who's the water champ? You're the water champ. You've been the water champ for as long as I've known you. Pound the water, pound the water. You've been the water champ for
Propaganda.
as long as I've known you. Let's go, let's go, let's go, water champ. Pound the water, pound the water. Let's go, let's go, let's go, water champ. Pound
catchy.
the water, pound the water.
That's what I'm talking about.
Current water champion.
Tom gets it running away.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, water champ. Pound the water, pound the water.
Nothing you can do
Look,
about
how many
it.
waters do you have right now?
Does that bother you? You guys are
all the
competitive.
time. Bothers me all the time.
Are you guys competitive with everything?
Just where it
Are
counts.
you guys competitive with stand-up?
No, just where it's important.
Zero.
Personality,
Zero. Literally
water.
zero.
No,
That's
that's
good.
probably why we transfer it into like water and personality
Yeah,
stuff. So we
it's
don't.
never in
That's
like
good.
Yeah.
this is a real argument.
No.
thing, you know? But like, but I mean, it was real when we were arguing initially about who drinks more water. Like I thought it was absurd.
Because I
we
do.
got angry. No,
I had a doctor tell me I should stop drinking so much water.
please.
What kind of doctor was he?
Urologist. He goes, "You're drinking too much. You drink far less."
You have to remember, she's an exaggerator.
Did he really tell you to stop drinking water?
Yes. He goes, "How much are you drinking?" And I told him. He goes, "You don't need to do that. That's a myth." He goes, "Just drink when you're thirsty. You're overhydrating." True story.
Can you overhydrate though?
You can if you go
can die.
really, really nuts. on
Yeah,
it.
if you go like a radio contest or
when we do water cut for the weigh-ins, I mean I don't know exactly what I know. I didn't feel good, but I drank over a gallon of water like during that the last podcast and didn't have to pee yet.
I remember that you kept throwing down the water. We
Yeah.
talked about it. You had like 9 or 10 fucking bottles
It
in
was
front
nuts,
of you.
but I mean that's not good. Probably.
Well, your
right?
body was like
Yeah.
so craving water.
Yeah.
But you just wanted to win that running away.
Oh my God, Joe, that was a horrible. The 2 or 3 days leading up to those weigh-ins were just horrible at our house. I mean, he was taking hot baths and then going into the jacuzzi and drinking distilled water and then going to Burke Williams and doing the sauna and then
It was a lot.
I thought he was gonna die.
You really did it though. That was what was impressive about it. It's like you fucking went for it.
Yeah.
Like Bert was kind of pretending to be going for it.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting because you were talking shit to him, and I know you're being comedic,
Yeah.
but you were also being honest.
Yeah, that's
you're like,
true.
that's what's playing catch up, suckers.
Yeah.
You guys want to buy into that shit?
Yeah.
He was trying to catch up at the end,
That's
whereas
true.
you had a sustained effort, a disciplined effort over a long
And
period of time.
from the jump off, I knew that would be the two ways psychologically that we'd go. I knew
yeah.
it from the very beginning that he
Yeah,
would
you
play.
had to deal with his craziness.
Yes.
That was the thing about crazy. And I even talked to him about that. And I said, the crazy is going to help you. I go, but you're going to need more than the crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I go, because your crazy is going to help you, but your body can only lose so much weight over a short period of time.
Right.
So don't think that, because Tom's not fucking around. I go, he's really doing this. So, like, you can't just rely on crazy.
Yeah.
He's like, I know. I'm only drinking double Tito's and sodas. And like, what?
He's so crazy. That's why he's so crazy.
His videos, he's always so drunk.
Yeah.
I worry about him, man, because he's like, what, 46 now or something like that?
No,
How old is he?
he's 43.
Oh, that's not off.
No, but
I'm
I
only
just
off
meant
by
that
3
he
years.
looks
He looks, yeah.
But what's crazy
56.
is, okay, but here's the thing. Say he's 43. You can't do that when you're 50.
I agree.
No.
I agree.
I mean, you kind of can, but you're going to fall apart.
Well, you can if you have those Mickey Mantle genes.
Yeah, that
Oh, that's
long
right.
form DNA.
Yeah.
Long-strand DNA. Yeah, there comes a point in time where your body's like, hey, man, you can't do this every day.
I know.
It's enough.
He does have an incredible stamina. To the ability, like I'm like admittedly not a party guy, but man, like if I have a few drinks, and I'm 38, I mean I feel it for days.
Yeah.
He has that he's just like, what? Let's go out now. You're like, dude. Like when you very graciously sent us to go watch the Cavs and Warriors play for doing the weight loss thing, I mean, we were like drinking in the morning, and I was like, I gotta go take a nap. And
he's just powering
He was
through.
like, I'll be at the bar. See you in a little while. And I just, I took a nap, and I had to like really pace myself.
By the way, whatever
going.
came out of that with Ari?
Well, people know now, he was gone for a long time.
Right.
He finally came back from his vision quest. And
4 months.
4 months off the grid.
I'm so jealous. I wish I
know,
could have
right?
done that.
85% of it was to avoid his debt with you guys.
He
as long as I just don't have an email or don't answer my phone.
He said that he did a podcast where he opened up by saying it was because Tom's tastes are so outrageous now.
Yeah.
He snacks on caviar. Yeah. So
it's pretty funny.
Yeah, it was very funny.
His podcast coming back was hilarious.
It was very funny.
And he was actually even joking around that was why he
that
vanished.
he ran. But he called me. He goes, "All right, where do you want to go?" And I go, "I don't know." He's like, "I've got to fucking do something. I get like 100 tweets a day. Like, pay up."
I told him I already took care of it.
Dude, I told him I go, I don't want to go. I'm fine. But he was like, "Oh, I'll take you somewhere."
Well, he fucked up when it happened at the time.
Yeah.
You're supposed to step up then.
Yeah, he was trying to figure his way out of it.
Yeah, he was
like,
trying to like,
you were
oh, no, you're supposed to.
0.15 things short of that. I'm like, all right, man.
Yeah, well, what was his argument?
The BMI. He's like, well, BMI wise, you're not actually 6 feet. You're 5'11" and 8/10. So your actual BMI to get out of that had to be if you were an inch taller or.
But no, he said 25 pounds, right?
Dude, it was.
You got to write it down on paper with him.
I know. I learned my lesson. There's some other crazy shit he's saying now. I'll tell you later.
Dum.
Stanima.
Now, all right, we should wrap this up. So, is there anything else you have?
No, Gene.
All right. Thank you for coming, Joe.
Yeah,
My
thank
pleasure.
you so much.
We do this rundown at the top of dates, but just so you know, you can go to joerogan.net/tour, and he's doing. You better hop on it because you added all these shows, and those are going to go quick.
Yeah, I added second shows to like a lot of places.
Yeah, it's
already.
going to be nuts. Here's the song "How I Glass" by Young Patreon on our way out. Thanks a lot for coming, man.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. 1,000 ranch, baby. About to put this down. Young Patreon.
Patreon, put that down.
Young Patreon.
Put that down. Patreon, get it.
Just slipping along this meadow, man.
We've been slipping along this big, huge meadow.
Just glassing out here every day.
Let's glass.
I'ma put that moose right on his ass. Ain't you heard? This is how I glass.
Holy cow! Holy cow is right.
Motherfucker, say goodnight. Pull back my string and set my sight. Send my arrow into flight. I got a really bad bite.
Planning something.
In 20 seconds, I'ma lose my shit. You ever seen a moose go down that quick? Nah, I'm about to marry my dad. What you know about that, boy? Woo! Best dad boner I done ever had. I'm a self-trained pup trying to sniff my dad. Some smell of his piss, a scent of his ass. A few loads of cum cause you know that I'm bad. Ain't got no tail, put that plug in my ass.
It's just like the gays.
When you marry your dad, you got any cum in those balls? Had a double pop classic in my overalls. F-A-R-T, diamonds in the crevice of your pussy. Big and vaginas, do you know how much money my smile is? I got a really bad bag, got a really bad bite. Call me duct tape by the end of the night. Woo! Just slipping along this meadow, man.
We've been slipping along this big, huge meadow.
Just glassing out here every day.
Let's glass.
I'ma put that moose right on his ass. Ain't you heard? This is how I glass. Now do your dick hang lower than the balls? Yeah, to the truth now, yeah. I'm the water champ like a waterfall. Where the Perrier, I'ma drink it all. Now how you feel about this? Before you hit the shower, get a whiff of your pitch. I like my hammock swinging low. Now you can shit in my mouth through the hammock hole. Let's glass, let's glass, let's glass. I got a moose. Let's glass.